fly without boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I'll be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know who you are. Flying up in a bar. Wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star. Didn't even get to cross. I said I'm moving too far. Get to glass. Looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad. I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast. Didn't even get a glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like mine, you know it's best to flaunt. We on, hating because you want. Shining like it's neon. Rock like Kings of Leon. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When that's enough, then I just have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When that's enough, then I just have to leave. Yeah, shoot, 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 shoot. Yeah, shoot, shoot. Yeah, shooting, shooting, shooting. Yeah, shooting, shot. Shooting stars, shooting stars, shooting stars, shooting stars. Didn't even get to cross.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away? Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away?
What's happening, people? Welcome to Tottenham Away Monday night. Best place to be in town if you're a Spurs fan. If you're not a Spurs fan, you're always welcome on our channel as well. Before I say hello to Iggy, JP, and Maz, and whoever else joins us, very, very quickly, I want to say a big thank you to everyone who has subscribed to our channel. We were at 11,000 before the channel got shut down half a year ago. We're back to 10,000 subscribers, and Spurs are back to not winning any trophies. So just not going to have a big song and dance and party about it. But look, thank you guys. We appreciate it. Also, I promised you last week, and I'm going to deliver. We have a channel disclaimer. It's not all positive. It's not all negative. It's Tottenham. Our channel is not a happy-go-lucky, let's all hug each other channel. Our channel is honest with opinions and views. Our channel is real, meaning we don't say what you want to hear. We just say what needs to be said, and we don't create a fake positivity. We are not media puppets. We praise and we criticize. If this is for you, then great. If not, then you are for the media puppets. There are many channels. We don't force anyone to be here. It's your choice. Thank you. Come on, you Spurs. Hey, Thank you. You're right.
Right, I'm off then. See you later. Yeah, I'm good. Obviously, as good as one can be following the FA Cup exit. But other than that, what can one say? Yeah, but I'm good. I'm good. I'm good as can be.
Good
You
stuff.
guys, all right?
JP, you good?
Big up to everyone in the chat, by the way, as well, and everyone watching.
Yeah, we'll do that in a minute. We'll say hello to everyone.
Kind of happy and sad. Happy we've got back up to 10k. So that's a massive achievement. Just peed off by the way we played. Still, it kind of like still rags me. You know, just not. This is for some of those players, and we know the front three and we know the midfield and stuff. But you just go for some of those players out there. This literally for them was their only chance of grabbing a bit of glory, grabbing a medal. Put your all into it. Can't be asked.
JP's gone straight in. Like,
I'm still hurting. I'm still hurting from it, man.
A bit like this guy. Oh well, can't please them all.
I'm still hurting.
Do you know what? Can I just address this, right? Let me just address this very quickly. Not that I should give any ounce of my attention to you, because I just said if this channel's not for you, there's other channels, right? But if you buy subscribers, YouTube shuts you down. Somebody bought Sean Butler from Spurs Talk Show subscribers, and then Sean was investigated by YouTube, right? You can't buy subscribers. On Twitch, you can do it. On YouTube, you can't. The algorithm will catch it and they will shut you down. So if you don't believe me, research it, reach out to Sean, he'll tell you the same thing. So I know there's people that are jealous and people that don't want us to have a voice. I get that. But really, is this where we're going to go with it?
Right.
Happened quite quick as well, by the way, to get into 10k. It's happened quite quick getting to 10k as well, I think.
The last 2 weeks since we've been going a little bit Levy, we've had a really good
videos that have gone viral and stuff, haven't they? So
we had one video that went viral, the Dragusin one, that we caught a lot of new followers off the back of that one. So, but look, I'm no expert. I'm no media guy. I'm a football coach. Maz, how are you doing, my man? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm not feeling very well, but I'm all good. I'm not obviously happy about Spurs, but we can talk about that.
Are you not feeling well because you're sick or because you support Spurs?
Can you be both at the same time?
Yeah, you can. Of course you can. All right, let's quickly say hello to some people in the house. We've got Adam, big up to you.
One quick thing still, just to one of our brothers who's not here today. Happy birthday, Lee.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Happy birthday to Lee. He's not here tonight. He said he might come in later. But
the big 5-0. Well done, mate.
Really big up, Lee.
Is Lee 50? He doesn't look 50.
Oh, isn't he? Oh, right. Maybe I got that wrong. Sorry.
We've outed him now.
We've blown it, Maz. We've blown it.
If he had 50, we'll wish him a happy 50th whenever he reaches it.
1 minute. Okay, we're 8 minutes in. Maz is in the mud. 8 minutes. Big up to Phil P. Woo!
Woo!
Big up.
Adrian's in the house. Ian's in the house. Ryan G is everywhere on every channel. Big up to you. Luke 14, another one that's everywhere. Tony, big up to you, my man. Jason, we've got William in the house. Graham, as always. Big up,
Graham.
Robert's in the house. George is in the house. Our friend who doesn't like us but watches our channel. Big up to you. Jonas Tonelli, big up to you. We've got Jammy Git, a legend. Jammy Git is an OG, original viewer. And she became a butterfly. Hello, Mark Cousins in the house. Bring it, big boy. Roy, big up to you, my man. Jason's in the house. 3SS Sports. Chris is in the house. Terence, how are you doing? Baz, we've got Quez Ali. Tom81. Mark Changle's in the building. Robert's in the house. Rams, how you doing? And there she is. Donna Cullen. It was only a matter of time. Get the fraud Arteta out of my club. Big up to you. Norman Stanley, big up to you. The Spurs fan, how you doing? Daniela's in the house. Good to have you with us. Tot Spurs, big up to you. Nige, big up to you as well. Bill's with us. Good to see you. Dietrich came with a super chat. What a week into one and top of the league was AC Milan. Straight in, doesn't even say hello. Congrats. Just goes for Iggy.
Refund on the cards.
Goes for Iggy.
I keep telling him he's wasting his money. Dietrich, you're wasting your money. Do you know what? Keep sending it. Keep sending it. Keep chatting shit. Keep chatting shit.
No. Keep sending it so we can buy more subscribers.
Yeah, don't tell him to stop.
So we can buy.
All right, Dietrich, as always, thanks for the super chat. Piss off. There you go. That's it now. That's all I'll say to his super chats.
We'll put it up. Maybe if we save
my
enough, maybe if we
God.
save enough, we'll be able to like help afford.
I'll buy him an AC Milan shirt with it.
Oh my goodness. Big up Robers in a coma. What a name that is. Big up to you. David P, Robbo71, Language Angels channel member. Thank you so much for joining us. Lisa O's in the house.
Big up, guys.
Jason Stops, Rob Frank, and is there anyone else? That is everyone, and Daniela there at the end. Guys, great to have you. Thanks for joining us. 150 people in the chat already. Smash a like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. So tonight, gents, ladies, everyone, we're going to be talking about the FA Cup game, of course. We're going to be talking about a number of players in that game. We're going to be talking about the lack of trophies. We're going to be talking a little bit about Poch getting to a final. We're going to look back at the last 125 years of Spurs and compare it a little bit to where we're at now. Richest Club, FFP, going to be discussing some of that. I'm also going to ask a question to the panel and to everyone at home. It's not serious, but I think a proper conversation needs to be had about it. I'll throw that in a bit later on. Briefly discuss about Nusa, and if we've got time, we might talk about Joe Lewis and his court case, but probably not because it's boring. But anyway, all right, let's go. FA Cup. I predicted a win. I said that City would be the better team, have the better chances, but I just felt Spurs would nick it. Deluded. Got that as wrong as I possibly could. Although saying that, on the 85th minute, when De Bruyne and Doku missed those chances, I thought, yeah, it's coming, isn't it? It's going to come. We're going to hit them with something that isn't meant to happen, and we're going to nick it. But then they won it in the end, and let's be honest, deservedly so. The starting lineup was Vicario, Porro, Romero, Van der Venedogi. We were all very, very happy with that back line. And then in midfield, it was Højbjerg, Bentancur, and Kulu. Again, we were all happy with that because that's the best we could offer. And then the front three was always the worry, but we knew it was going to be Brennan, Timo, and Richie. No surprises there. After 25 minutes, I put this out on social media. I think we're in trouble because they had 5 shots, 2 on target. Passes in the final third completed 46 and 60% possession. When you look at our stats after 25 minutes, it was frightening, as in absolutely shocking. And then by the end of the game, this was the big talking point. They had 18 shots, on target 5, off target 4. It's as if we weren't even on the pitch. And if you look at the corners, it's even worse. The bench, we had Royale, Davies, Dragusin, Madison, Skip, Santiago, Gill, Scarlett, hardly anyone that can come on. Madison came on for 20 minutes and put in a stinker, if we're going to be honest about it. Didn't look match fit. Iggy, that was our last chance of silverware, and we went out with an absolute whimper. Do you put it down to the lack of quality we had on the pitch? Do you put it down to the fact that it's just in our DNA, when the big moment comes, we choke, we bottle? To not even lay a glove on them, to not even test their second choice goalie. Is it just down to poor players on the pitch? Because Porro's not bad. He had a bad game. Kulu's not bad. He had a stinker. Bentancur is probably one of our best midfielders. Went missing. Iggy, tell us what you think, because I've been seeing this for too many years now, and I don't know. I'm beginning to lose faith already. Again.
Start with Man City to have a hope of beating them. Let's be honest here. To have a hope of beating them, they have to drop off a little bit to give you the best chance of him having a game with them. And this Man City at the moment, they look so in control, didn't they? They look massively in control. The level of the players that they got throughout, back to front, is on another level. And I think ultimately the subs that came on for them were like, they had Doku that came on, they had De Bruyne that came on, and like we outside of our 11, we was in trouble anyway. Our attacking part of it was toothless. We was toothless up front. I think that there isn't a part of the field that we dominated at any level, and I think if it hadn't been for our defense, which is still a very reliable defense, um, we probably would have lost more. You know, I remember De Bruyne missing an absolute sitter,
Yeah.
Alvarez missing another one that they would normally 9 out of 10 will put away. And when that happened, I did feel inside. I thought, I wonder if this is, one of them games where it's going to be an upset. I always felt it would be a 1-0 game. Obviously, it ended up being 1-0 to Man City. But I felt that when they started missing a couple of chances, I thought maybe, just maybe, we might be able to nick it. But that was all it was. It was just a hope that we would nick it. But I never felt throughout the 90 minutes that we had enough about us to really get in and behind and try and even worry Ortega. Ultimately, their goal was a disappointing goal, not just for the time of it that it came, but there's a lot of there was a lot of doubt on whether it was a foul, whether it was a legit goal, was it a foul on the keeper? There was everyone was up in arms about it.
Do you think it was a foul, Iggy, or do you think it would have been very, very soft if they gave it?
I'll be honest with you, man. When I watched it live, I didn't feel it was. There was what I did say, and I was watching it with my son. And I said to him, there was 2 corners previously, and they were putting a big man. I
All
think it was
game.
Diaz on the
All game.
goalkeeper.
All game,
Yeah,
Iggy.
all game.
Every
But
single corner.
it's not the
Yes.
first game that I've seen. JP, it's not the first game I've seen a big guy go up against Vicario. They deliberately do not put anyone. Vicario doesn't seem to want anyone, or whether it's discussed that way. There isn't a player that can say, get him off the goalkeeper. We've not done that, and even in this game, but I'd seen it previously as well, and we're happy to Vicario to deal with that situation. And there was a couple of warnings before then. De Bruyne put a really good ball in, put it on the keeper, and we know what happened after that. I didn't feel it was, but I've also seen clips online. Everyone was going mad about it online on social media. There was a similar sort of thing happened to Alisson, and he was awarded a foul for the similar sort of situation. I can't remember against who it was, but Liverpool were given a free kick for it. So there's a lack of consistency. Is it a foul? Is it not a foul? I think we should decide really early doors with the consistency. But then the consistency thing's been a factor for all season long. But ultimately, man, we have to say, and I think Postecoglou said it on the night, that they were better than us. And then there's no recriminations about who was the better side on the night. Yes, I agree with what you said. Players like Bentancur and players that you expect to take a little bit more on didn't show. But that is unfair to put it all on. We was doing that with Harry Kane. If Harry Kane didn't turn up, then likely, it isn't the responsibility of 1 or 2, 3 players. It's the responsibility of the whole team. But we had the whole month to get players in for this game, which we knew would be a massively important game for us.
We did. We got Timo Werner, Ricky Sachs, and Chris Cowley on Sky Sports and said it's a brilliant signing, low risk, good bit of business.
Okay, look, I'm not going to put again. I'm not going to start saying it's.
Most of our fan base said good deal. Yeah, and can get the best out of him and get the old Timo Werner cooking again. I'm just repeating the things that were said that I repelled against. I was on the back end of the backlash of saying no, this is nonsense.
No, look, for me, I felt like we could have done a little bit more, given the injuries that we had. We could have brought some players in, but others, I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, if we don't get players out, we can't get players in." Højbjerg didn't go out, so therefore we couldn't get that player in. That player didn't go out, we couldn't get player. It's just, and obviously in the summer we're going to have all our loanies coming back. Listen, it's a free-fall argument, and it's one that could take us all night just to even get through that alone. But right now, we against the better teams. This is what I'm trying to get at. I think we would do fine still with a mid-table and teams below us. I think the proper teams like Man City and perhaps Liverpool at their best when they have the first 11.
But Iggy,
we won't do as well.
City, I don't disagree.
Yeah, but
I have to create a debate, right? We went to Man City with Chicken Royale and Ben Davies at centre back.
But that was a City that wasn't flying all cylinders. This one was. This looks like a
We
different
were a
animal.
team on our knees.
It weren't. Yeah, I know, but that's
No
what I'm saying. What did I
Maddison,
say?
no
I said,
Basuma, who was suspended.
what did I say
Chicken
earlier?
Royale
Though?
and
Maybe down the
what's
valley,
his
though.
name?
For any team to have a chance
Babies
against
at
Man
centre-back.
City, they have to be dropping off a level or
Wills,
two. And that day they
had
did.
Son.
They did. Yeah,
They
well,
were.
exactly. Sun for us
And
is massive as
we
well.
also had Kulu, who was on form.
And
But we
Lo
can't
Celso.
be solely relying on
But where was
Sun in the
Kulu?
same way
Yeah,
we're
but
relying on
where was Kulu against Man City on
Kane.
Friday when it matters? Like, this is a cut. Can I
Messi.
ask you a
I'll tell you
question?
one thing that-
JP, let me ask something. Let me ask you something, JP. Right? When we went to the Etihad, the expectation was, yeah, we're going to get tonked. Right? We've got too many injuries. It's City. All right.
Yeah.
There's no pressure. This is do or die. If you believe in trophies, your season ends on a Friday if you don't get past City or at least get it to a replay. Your season's over unless you believe top four is glory and success. So if you believe trophies is success, Friday is it. This is pressure. Sold out. It's billed as a big game. Is it not just a case that at the Etihad, regardless of who was in our starting 11, we weren't under pressure? This was pressure. One team can handle it. One team just chokes. Because I've seen this with Conte, with Mourinho, with Poch, with Redknapp, with AVB, with Nuno, with Stellini, with everyone. Is it not a case that our culture now, and I hate saying this, I hate it, are we not just a bottle job club under this culture of the
How
last
do you
20
change that
years?
then? How do you change that?
I think it's probably fair to say that we probably have been. But at some point, you have to get somebody to take the bull by the horns and change that, right? Is Ange that man? He seems to be. He seems to want to be. But
He can't be alone now.
But he can't do it single-handedly, right? He needs the backing. So far, you could say, okay, do you know what? We've done well and got rid of some of the dead wood that's there or whatever. And if you go by what he says, you know, he has his overall say about who comes in. It's still hard to believe that the fact that, you know, he would say yes to Timo Werner. However, we totally don't know what was on the table. The discussion could have honestly been, I want someone speedy and I want someone on the left wing just to bring Son back inside.
JP, can I read something to you?
Can I just say, we can't get anyone, but we'll give you Timo Werner.
I want to read something that a fan put on our channel about Timo Werner, right? When Ange said all signings are mine, this needs to be treated with an understanding that his signings must remain within the budget set by Levy. Timo Werner is an Ange signing within the limited budget set by Levy. If Ange had a higher budget, he would highly likely purchased someone else.
There you go.
No, but that's one fan's opinion.
But is the budget zero? It's literally the budget zero.
It couldn't have been that
It could
much.
be 5 million. It could have been 7. But if maybe Timo was the best.
But that's what the virtues of Postecoglou were when he came to Spurs, right? Is that he can operate with little to no money and he knows the various leagues around the world. His knowledge of the players in Europe and Asia and I don't know, worldwide is impeccable, and he can bring in these hidden gems that don't cost a lot of money. And
I totally get that and accept that. But I would still say across Europe, there's got to be someone who is pacey and can put the ball in the net.
So,
Maz, sorry to interrupt you again. Can I tell you what this same fan said, directly linked to what you said, right?
Yeah.
Ange is the type of manager that's very compatible with Levy's strategy. Many people dismissed Ange when he joined Spurs on the basis he's only won at Celtic and Celtic had financial dominance over the other Scottish clubs.
True.
But Ange has experience winning trophies with a shoestring budget. At Brisbane Roar, he had a transfer budget of 0, only dealing with free transfers throughout his reign. But there were salary caps that made it an equal budget platform for every other side in the league. It was Ange's ability to get cheap signings that turned out to be great and led him to being successful at Celtic. This is a major reason why Ange is at Spurs. And then he finishes off by saying this, and this is the bit, Maz, that I want to hear what you have to say. The issue is Spurs' competition is Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, and Man United. Can a limited budget trying to find only hidden gems suffice in this league where there's no salary cap either? Should we qualify for Champions League, we then have to deal with Bayern Munich, Juventus, PSG, and Real Madrid.
Well, this is it. And I'm going to draw in various elements of what JP has said, Iggy, and yourself. There's multiple ways you can look at the problems at Spurs and how you would deal with them. And up until we signed Timo Werner and the banter we've had online and offline, my initial analysis of the players coming in was that, well, he's uplifting the lower end of the squad. So there's multiple ways you can have a recruitment strategy, right? You can either bring in top class players, you can bring in very good players that replace potentially first teamers, or you can bring in squad players that will uplift the lesser players in the squad at a very simple and high level view, right? And I judged the Timo signing as him potentially improving on the lesser players that we have in our team, i.e. your Solomon and your Brian Gill. Now, where I've been listening to yourself and others in the various shows and over the last week, especially since we lost, is that there's you have to have a different strategy, right? When you come into a club where the ethos of the club over 24 years has been one of constantly losing or constantly failing just when you're at the cusp of glory. And you said something that really resonated with me and brought me back to the state I was when Conte left. Was that when you said that when those players, I know, what have you done? It's your fault. So when those players walk down that tunnel, right, they're not surrounded by the people that have brought glory to the club. They're surrounded by the bricks.
The corridors of Tottenham speech.
Correct,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right. They're surrounded by the bricks that Levy has laid that, in our eyes, have been a failure. Yeah, they may be shiny, but they haven't brought glory. And can Ange come in with the same philosophies that he's brought from these other clubs? That yes, the other clubs that he was at were failing as well, but can he come in and do the same things to reinvigorate Tottenham Hotspur? And when we say, oh, we think he's the right man, if I'm honest with you, I'm not sure anyone really knows whether he's the right man. And it's how long he can come up with new things to combat what's currently happening at Spurs, and when he runs out of things to do, whether he takes a step back, a bit like Conte, and says, you know what, I've done all I can do, and he starts getting agitated because things aren't working. And that's what I'm worried about. Now, I don't know if I've directly answered your question, but that's where my mind is at the current situation. And that's why I'm not feeling good about what's happening, because when you look at Johnson and the Richarlisons and the Werners and the other players around the squad, and then you look at the behavior of our recruitment policy, and let's not get it twisted as well. We have brought in brilliant players in the summer window, but is Levy really giving him a chance to rectify the obvious? And I'm not sure he is actually. I'm not sure that this window's been actually good. And I agree with Iggy. Have we done? I don't think we've done enough. We've had all month to prepare, or all month to. In fact, let's say we've had 4 or 5 months to identify the players that we would want to go through go for in January, and we've had enough time as well to see that the injuries that have happened for us to strengthen. And apart from Dragusin, I'm not really sure we've prepared very well, if I'm honest with you.
At the
Maz,
start
but
of the season, Maz, we knew we were selling Kane, right? The date for the Asia Cup was always in the calendar.
But
Injuries
exactly,
are
and this is
Injuries are
where
we knew we
I'm
were
going
going
to
to
be
lose
honest.
Professor. We knew we were going to lose Basuma.
Yeah.
We knew we were going to lose Sun. We knew that. On top of that, we had injuries, right? So the build up to that period coming anyway was pretty stressful, and the players that we could put out, it was quite a thin.
They had 2 months. They had 2 months to strategize for January because Madison got injured with 2 months to go to the January window. So they had 2 months to proper strategize.
But the problem is, and we've discussed this to death, haven't we? Right? But we knew that Kane was leaving. They knew that he was leaving. There's no
And you said
way at the end of last season that they didn't know Kane was leaving. How can you let one of the best players in the world leave your football club and not have a replacement? Now they would say, but we've got Son, right? I'm pretty sure that at that point when they thought, we've got Son, also as well, that Levy was probably saying to Ange, well, we just spent 65 million quid on Richarlison. He's a real R9. He plays for Brazil. He's got to be the replacement for Kane. Right? And that's where the same old Levy comes in. And this is where, I'm going to be honest though, you really change my mind. Not change my mind, but refocus my thinking on what is really happening. And I've been quite reserved this season. I've liked the fact that we went 10 games unbeaten, but I was really cautious about what's going to happen in the future, knowing what Spurs do to every manager that ever comes in. And I'm not sure whether Ange can really turn any things around. I mean, we're doing well. I'm not saying we're doing bad. We're probably doing better than what we thought we would be doing from how it ended last year with Conte. But, is the same thing going to happen? Is the same thing going to happen?
Do you know, let me say my bit on this, right? Very quickly, any super chats that come in, guys, I'll do it when we talk about the subject rather than bringing it up now. And then we've wasted the super chat. So there is one that's come in that's relevant. Anthony, thank you so much. He says, I think your fan base should view this season as an absolute failure, with Spurs going trophyless once again. With my club, Milan, there's pressure on our manager, Pioli, to win the UEL or he's out the door. And do you know what? What I said, okay, after the Man City game, I wasn't gutted that we lost because it's Man City. We're at the start of a process, a rebuild. It's going to take time to get in all the players and the squad. But I think the job is much bigger than people realize. We need 6 more players, in my opinion, for the current squad. That's to compete in English games. If you add Europe into it, I think we need 10 players if we're going to talk about rotation and playing 60 plus games a season. We're only playing 41 games this year, 38 league games, and then the 3 cup games we played in. That's it. So I think the job is much bigger than what everyone thinks. And then you've got to keep your best players during that process and hope none of them get serious injuries. When we lost to Man City, I had this feeling in my stomach and my heart sank because it wasn't the loss. It's the way we lost. And I've seen that with Conte, Sheffield United, Poch against Genk, against Colchester. I've seen that with Jose against Norwich City, who got relegated in the FA Cup. The night Dyer ran into the stands. I've seen this under every manager at Spurs. And for me, we can question Ange's tactics. And yes, we can question, should he have made the subs earlier? And we can question, should he have started Gill? And we can question all that. But Ange came and we said he's a winner. He wins everywhere. Conte came, he's a winner. Mourinho came, he's a winner. Poch has got Chelsea to a cup final in 6 months. And I just feel there's something at the club that is broken. Like, I honestly feel the club is broken from within. Yeah. And when I do it, I'm lucky, right? I've been to Hotspur Way, the training ground, the academy. I've been to Carrington, Man United. I've been to the Etihad campus where they train there. I've been to London Colney and to Hale End where Arsenal train. I've been to the old Liverpool training centre. I haven't been to the new one. And let me tell you something. When you arrive, you know you've arrived at a sporting institution of excellence by the signage, the statues of great managers and players. As you pull in, there's big murals of their legends. There's more statues, or the Liverpool one, they've got every trophy in gold painted on the wall. Then underneath, a big number, how many they've won of each trophy. Then underneath, the dates they won it. Man United, similar. You know you're at a place that oozes glory. You go to Spurs, and I'm not trying to bash my club.
They demand it.
Maz, you go to the Spurs stadium, take the badge off the stadium. You don't know what stadium you're at. You have no idea if you take the badge off the side of the stadium. You go to the training ground, no statues, no big murals of our legends. It's like you've gone to a very modern, minimalistic investment bankers sporting retreat. And the point I was trying to make is the players, the managers, the staff at all these clubs, they walk through those corridors every day. What is the vibe and what is the atmosphere doing in the arena where they spend most of the time, which is the training campus? Spurs, for me, have built a state-of-the-art retreat.
Retreat, holiday resort.
Mate, we've got a hotel on our campus.
There's a hotel which
unbelievable.
Is awesome, innit? Yeah.
And this is why, Estelle, where the ethos of the owner and the CEO who's running that organization is paramount, because they shape the environment and the ethos of the people they bring in to manage that organization. I've seen it in some of the biggest companies in the world when I've worked in them, right? The leaders, right, are inspirational. They command in the best from their leadership group, right? You know, if you're going to try and get a company to make records amounts of profits and deliver a brilliant product or service, right, that ethos of demanding the best, being the best, right, has to come from the owners, i.e. the investors, and the CEO that steers the ship. If they're not good, right, then the company doesn't succeed. And it's the same in football. And you can see that a little bit of Man United, right? And you got that guy coming in, and I'm sure he's looking at Man United and thinking, well, looking at the leadership structure and thinking, I'm going to get rid of him. I'm going to get rid of him, right? I'm going to get rid of him because I want to win, right? And
yeah,
no one can do that at Spurs because they can't get rid of the person at the top with that ethos.
Listen, the people that have created this, the Levies, the Cullens, the Capelhorns, the Kleins, the Turners, these are the board members. They've created this. The issue is, to change this, you can't keep them there. This is their puppy. Yeah. This is their baby. This is the reflection of who they are and why they've been brought in.
Exactly.
If Scott Munn, Paratici, Johan Lange sat on the board, then maybe we can have a conversation. Do you know what? This actually could maybe change, but they're not on the board. They're employed by the board below.
Exactly.
And I'm telling you, as much as I freaking hate them, man, and I hate Arsenal and I hate Chelsea, I hate them with a passion. When you go to their training facilities, you know you're at a sporting centre of excellence. There's a different vibe. And I think that's why when Arteta took over at Arsenal with that average squad, he beat Man City in the semi-final and he beat Chelsea in the final, because although they weren't the better squad, there's something within the culture embedded that allows them to find that extra moment that I think at Spurs we choke because it's lacking. And guys, I'll be honest with you, I love Ange to bits. I think he's one of the best managers we've had in a long time. The football we play, getting a tune out of crap players, the way he never blames anybody, the way he says, I'm sticking to my guns. I love it all. But I don't think he or anyone else can fix the deep-rooted problems within the culture. I think it's too.
Well,
I think you said it earlier.
then
Can he do it by himself? The answer is no. I don't think anyone can.
Conte
any
said
club.
though, you can change the manager, but just by changing the manager doesn't mean you're going to win. And he talked about the culture, didn't he? He said,
But what has
same
changed?
owner, one trophy in 20 years, right? And he's in his way, he's talking about the culture,
literally
isn't it?
came out and said it, isn't
Yeah,
he?
but since that's happened, guys, since that has happened, apart from bringing a manager that's playing more attractive and more pleasing football to the eye of every Spurs fan, which is true, guys, what has changed beyond that? What's changed
Some of the
beyond that?
transfers have been a lot better. You'd say
Yeah,
the
they have.
transfers.
Yeah, they have. They have.
Let's say the
But
positives,
in the
right?
grand scheme, to us to elevate to the levels that we're talking about, we're mentioning some teams have had winning success. When you go to the grounds, like you mentioned, they the Arsenal got the Invincibles up in the stadium, and
Thinking we need to bring in Chiesas, Kvaratskhelia, Vlahovic's. We need to bring in a different caliber of player.
I'm sure that
Do those
Ange,
players want
right?
to come to this culture?
Yeah,
I don't think. I don't know.
I'm sure that Ange, in comparison to Mourinho and Conte, is doing a phenomenal job in galvanizing what's existing there, giving a feel-good factor around the club. His communication is, like you, I love him. I think he's an amazing person, an amazing manager.
He's a motivator, isn't he? You can tell.
Absolutely, but that in itself doesn't mean
not going to be enough.
It's going to be well. We don't know, but to me, it remains to be seen whether he's got the stamina to be able to change the rot in Tottenham, because he everywhere he's gone to, he's won within 1 or 2 years, right? If he doesn't win in a couple of years at Spurs, then that's a new test for him, because it's never happened to him before.
Yeah, but the difference,
really,
Maz, the difference when he's gone at Celtic.
I think he can win a Carabao Cup, guys. By the way, I think a Carabao Cup he can do, but beyond that, I don't think anyone can.
At Celtic, there would have been a plan in place, right? I know the levels is different, and I know it's only them and Rangers really that share the honours and everything else. But in any club that decides that they want to lay the foundations to go and win something, they say, right, Gaffer, what's your plan to do this? And the players that come in, they're going to speak to the manager, say, well, what's the plan for us to do? And they'll say, like, this year we're going to do this, second year we're going to do this, third year. So he lays it out to them, and they're like, wicked, all right, cool. So when they then go through that process, and whilst they believe the manager, they're not seeing the club acting to what the manager's saying. Even the managers eventually will lose credibility in front of the faces of the players, because they're not delivering. So it's like, mate, we come to you because you thought we was going to do this and this, that, and the other. So they become disillusioned with it, and that's where. And once the manager loses credibility in front of the players, or loses face, he's a goner, right? So I understand. I think the manager's the right guy right now in this moment in time. I don't know if he's going to succeed at Spurs or not, but right now, given what he's done, he's definitely been, a breath of fresh air, and all of that. He's brought the excitement back in the football and all of that. But now we need more. I think whilst we agree, we can all maybe majority of us agree that he's the right man at the club right now in this moment. Away from that, we need to put other things in place. Now, yes, some of the transfers have been very good since the summer, better than what we've had done in a long, long time. But Stell's right, we need more, because when it comes down to it, when you're meeting the big boys at the pivotal point of the season, if you got 1 or 2 players out, they're gonna completely knock you out of the park, because they are at the business end now. This is the second half of the season, and they're starting to kick on. Man City are starting to kick on. They're probably going to go an unbeaten run now. So, and there's no excuse. I know people in the chat earlier on saying this, we've got to stop making excuses. We're not making excuses. We're just delivering what we feel, in our opinion, as a fact. All right. So, we need to do more. Will it happen? I don't know.
What's the excuses that we're making? I think we're trying to. I'm not making excuses.
Yeah, for example, I listen. I always said I will wait to see what we do in January, and because that's the month that I felt would have been. Hang on, I felt that would be the month that we would see the club, not the manager, not the players, the club, and where they're at. And they haven't shown me that the ideology of what they wish to do hasn't changed from what previously we've always done. So I don't know. I don't know, guys. I'm honestly, my opinion on our club hasn't changed. It really
The
hasn't.
argument will
I mean,
be
two
though
things
from
I would
fans.
say, Iggy,
Go on,
sorry,
JP.
Maz, really quickly. Two things I would say is when Ange came and there was talk about him coming and what he'd done at certain clubs, etc. And I heard the Celtic director, he basically said when we spotted Ange, we knew what he could do, we knew what he was capable of, and when we don't know players and football or anything like that. So we put our trust in him and we said we would back him financially. Whoever he picked, whatever we picked,
All right.
it's on him, right? That's the project. So it's almost he's the head of the project. I'm bringing you in to deal with the football, play the football, buy the players. I trust you, right?
We're not going to win leagues.
That's
We're
what
not going to win Europe.
that's what
Domestic
he's
cups
not
at
getting
best.
here.
JP, can I ask a question? 100% he's not getting that here. And do you know how we know that? Because we've got a data
Timo Werner.
analytics team.
Timo
Well, no.
Werner's telling me that.
Well, that's kind of like up for debate. But if you look at the facts, we've got a data analytics team, Scott Munn, Paratici, Johan Large, and Mackenzie. Now, if Ange is the one picking everyone, why do we need these people?
Too many chefs. Too many chefs. And it undermines him ultimately in the end. Right?
But Ange has agreed to this, though. Ange has accepted this,
Well,
right?
and
He's
this
staying
is
in
where
the job. So we can't completely say, oh, because every manager at Spurs, except for Conte, said enough's enough. Even Mourinho became a yes man. Conte's the only one that said.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure Mourinho became a yes man. I don't think he became. The thing is, listen.
He never walked.
Right,
He towed the line.
He never called out the owners or the managers.
He towed the line.
But then he's been professional, right? So in one hand, you can't
Isn't
say
that a yes man.
no.
No, hang on a minute, Maz. With him, he's every job in the last years has been getting sacked everywhere. He's been getting paid, getting sacked, and getting paid very well. He weren't walking away for one reason and one reason only. He'd be walking away from money.
Fine.
Not because he gave a shit about his
I don't think
it's
it's yeah, that's fine, right? Fine. I'll take your point. I lost my point now. That's it. You done me.
We're talking about Mourinho. You're arguing that Mourinho's not. You said no. He's not. He's not a yes man.
No, but before that, I was leading something and I've completely forgotten it. So apologies.
It'll come back to
I'm
you.
not well. Yeah, I'm not well.
But
I think
what I was here is like Ange at the moment is towing the line. Like he's accepting whatever's going on. So it's hard to say.
It's come to me, right? So when you go I think these managers that when they walk into a large club, a large organization with lots of different people there, you know, you're gonna have to. It takes a special type of person to go in and be ruthless and tear everything up and say, no, we're doing it this way, we're doing that way. I don't actually think that Levy would ever allow that. And the only person that I've seen kind of do that had Levy's ear was Paratici, but I don't think he made the right calls because as soon as he left, they ripped everything up and started again, right? Which means that the structure he put in place was wrong, right? So again, it always comes back down to Levy. Is what will he tolerate in his organisation? And I don't think he's changed. You can tinker around the edges. You can get a different person in like Ange who might do things ever so slightly different. But in the end, what I mean by professional is if they want the job, they're going to have to accept what the owner's saying, right? Otherwise, you're not going to have the job. So by proxy, them coming in, they're going to have to accept compromises. But what Spurs need is a completely uncompromising manager. Conte compromised in the beginning, right? Up until the point where they stopped listening to him. Yeah, right? And then he just thought, right, I'm going to blow this shit up and get paid out. And we'll see what happens anyway with Ange.
I don't think Ange is that do you know what? It's weird, right? Because part of me thinks that Ange won't. That Ange will just keep going, and be like another Poch. And if it all goes wrong, we don't know, right? If it goes wrong, he'll just be, a sitting duck, and then he'll be the fall guy, and then the fans will turn against him. Like we turn against every manager. It's always his magic,
I hear people turning on him. I hear
Antonio.
people turning on him already.
For the
still.
record, we never turned against any of the managers apart from Nuno.
But there's people turning on him already. Like,
And
oh,
Mason.
you should have bought Madison on earlier. You should have done this. You should have done that.
No,
Yeah. I mean, they're criticising him, aren't they? I think part of me says he'll just, if it doesn't work out, he'll just wait until the inevitable, and he'll get the chop like every manager has. Or what quite a few Australians and quite a few Scottish fans that know Ange better than us, they all say I read their comments whenever I put stuff up on the socials. They always are very consistent. A lot of them say, if Ange isn't being treated the way that was agreed, and the plan changes, or he's unhappy with the board, he'll walk. He won't wait. He'll walk, they say. But he's never walked in his life. So I don't know where they get that from. I don't know.
Well, I presume it's because he's been true to his word on other things, right? And that's come with like their own experience, kind of like within their team.
There's a comment here where Terence has said, "Oh, and they should criticise him as a coach." Thing is, I'm not sure what you would criticise Ange on. I mean, what else could he have done? He's only got those players that he's got. I mean,
personally, I would have thought it would have been too much to bring Madison on like much earlier.
But there's
Madison
apart from moving them, juggling them around, and moving them into different things. I'm not sure that he can do anything much more than
in terms of the starting 11.
No, what Terrence's argument was, because I saw his comment earlier, what his argument was is it's Ange's job to motivate the players. But where I kind of have an issue with that comment is, why couldn't Conte motivate them? Why couldn't Poch motivate them? Why couldn't Mourinho motivate them? Why couldn't?
But they're not. They're not unmotivated though. What makes us think they're unmotivated?
This is a slightly different group, though. Still,
this is what Terrence.
They're not unmotivated. They're not walking out there with their heads down. They're all running around trying really hard.
I didn't see a team that was. I saw a team that perhaps didn't play the way they would have wanted to play. Yes, but I didn't see a team that.
Oh, right. He walked from an international job. This is Bryce from Australia. So there you go. That's where it comes from. Right. Thanks for that, Bryce.
I think he had a fallout though with the people in charge or something like that. I don't know what the issues were there, but exactly. But
because he did have a go at a guy on a TV program
on air. Yeah. I didn't see a team that wasn't motivated against Man City. How can you not be motivated playing against Man City? You have to be, otherwise you're going to get absolutely thumped. But it just didn't play well,
the
man.
Defense did their job. The rest of them didn't.
We didn't do what perhaps we thought we would end up doing, and they took control of the game. You have to say they took control of the game, and we played their game, and we had no thing to get, to try and trouble them in any way or form.
Can we talk about some of the players, right? There's 5 here I've listed, right? Let's start with the midfielders.
To be honest with you, still he didn't. I'd put him in the same category as the rest of the midfielders and the forwards. I think the only people that played, played well is our defence. I thought our defence was the only.
Right?
But
why did Benton call him Kulu? Right, fans have been saying we want Kulu in the 10. Play him in the 10. He played in the 10.
I don't like that.
And we were all happy that Benton calls back, and we know Benton calls a good player.
Well,
why did they both not have a good game?
Prior to the City game, though, he did play reasonably well in that 10 role. Right. What I would say is, and it's something I've noticed, and I don't know if it's a pattern or anything like that, but if he's out for a game or out for 2 games, the first game back is always poor. And I don't know if he needs another game to get into the swing of it or what, but that first game back, from injuries, from red cards, from this time it was flu or a bug or whatever it was. The first game back is always a poor game with him. Bentancur, I don't. It's almost like he had to do everything and had to be everywhere. At one point, I saw him play the ball to Johnson down the line. Johnson, space in front of him, should have gone. He turns back and gives the ball back to Bentancur. I could almost feel Bentancur going, "Why are you giving me the ball?"
Yeah.
What the fuck are you
Sometimes
doing?
when the opposition are so good that no matter what they do, they look bad, and that's what I felt like
The City
on
were
the
at
day
it.
with them.
Weren't
Yeah,
they?
they were
City
at
were
it.
at it. They were on
Their
us.
midfield
Even
just
that
absolutely
bloody
dominated
Bernardo
us.
Silva
City,
was making fouls left, right, and centre.
yeah.
When did you see him fouling people?
It's
Well, do you
true.
know what's interesting? City made 19 fouls in that game. We made 9. There was definitely a tactic to rough us
Yeah.
up in that midfield.
Yeah.
And do you know what? They got away with a lot. They should have had some bookings. But are we being a little bit harsh on ourselves here and forgetting the fact that Man City were class? Let's have it right. Other than putting the ball in the back of the
Oh,
net,
they're
they were
brilliant. Yeah,
class.
absolutely.
On the day
I'm not down. I'm not down that. It's really. I am down about the result, but I'm not. I'm not down at the players per se. Apart from, I mean, even Richarlison. For as much as I dislike him as a footballer, he was running around and trying to do whatever he does and get in their faces and
running around.
just running around, whatever he was doing, right? But you start when the opposition team is so superior to us, you start seeing the deficiencies, and
But I
you know
don't.
you see
In a way,
you see the deficiencies in Højbjerg, you see the deficiencies in Kulu, you start seeing the deficiencies in Johnson in that moment when things are going bad. I think the only person that can cover themselves in any glory in that game really is Van der Ven, and what a player he's going to be in the future. I mean, he's got such
you ain't gonna
bad
stay around.
Yang Vertonghen vibes. He's what a defender he's going to be in the future if he continues the way he's going.
No, that's
We're going to struggle to hold on to Van der Ven if we don't find success in the next.
If we don't,
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. For me, I would say is like you look forward to a game like that because the way we have been playing, and be it all right, it was the start of the season. It would have been a good game if we played our game against them, but we didn't seem to do that. And if it's a case of reality hitting now and saying this literally shows you where Højbjerg is, where Brendan Johnson is, where Kulu is, where all of these are to that top level, then we know that's the bar, right? So we know how far we have to go. Where we went 10 games at the start of the season, everything looked rosy. It was pretty. The football was tangible. We were winning games, not conceding goals. The longest ever since we've conceded a goal and all of that stuff. This is the reality check now because I think it was either Stella or Iggy said earlier. This is when these boys kick into gear. It's the business end now for these.
It's true.
They lift it and they go, okay, here we go. Doesn't matter about winning the first 10 games of the league.
These games are you're right. These games are an absolute measure of your team against the best that there is in this country. And when it comes down to it, where you're playing, let's say a final or an in and out game, and they got their best 11 and you got your best team, it gives you where you are, and where you can see that with the absences of Madison, I know he's come back from injury and so on and stuff like that. We have to have those players in the team to even have a chance of even beating them. Without them, and then introducing the three forwards and then you got the midfield and it's just like I said, for
If
us
any
to
of
have
them are just under
would
par,
be
that's
exactly
it,
for
isn't
this team, for that team that played on Friday, to have a possibility of going through. Man City had to drop a level, and do you know what? They came, and that was my worry. We said it last week. My worry was that they were definitely wanted to score, and they wanted to beat Spurs. They wanted to do everything one night, and they
hadn't
came with
scored in that stadium.
they came with a point to prove. They came with a point to prove, and that was to set their stall out, and they did it, man. We're beaten by the better team. Pure and simple.
I do feel, however, if we had a Lo Celso in that team or a fit Maddison, and Cooley was up front on the right, then potentially we could have at least
But
got
it's
a draw.
always the way, though, isn't it? It's always the way.
It's almost having that team at the start of the season, isn't it, Maz? If we had that team at the start of the season against them, it's quite possible we could have still lost, right? But
Guys,
it would have been a good game.
We saw Maidstone on the weekend in the FA Cup beat a team from a division above and go through in the FA Cup. For me, there is no excuse for Spurs to not even lay a glove on Man City. Yeah. And I just
they
feel
couldn't get their gloves near him though. Still,
but this is the issue, JP. Like this happens with every manager.
Begs the question though: why didn't anyone shoot outside the box? Not one shot outside.
It's a reserve keeper or a second keeper, or whatever. The first thing you do when I used to play football, we go, "Oh, do you know what? They've brought a dodgy keeper on, or he's not their regular keeper. Take shots at him."
Yeah. Listen, Timo had a run across the box and he decided to lay it off instead of shoot. Why, I don't know. Maybe because he didn't feel confident. But
do you know what? I saw a clip.
Terence, you sent this super chat in, but you haven't put a comment. Do you want to send in the comment, then I can read it
out? He made a lot of runs, Timo, but he weren't getting fed the ball. There was a clip online that I saw.
That's Kulu and Bentancur's fault.
I'm just saying that we tried to isolate a player that's just come a few weeks ago when there's other players in the team.
See, like I said,
the responsibility's got to be shared, man. We can't just wait on someone that's been around for 2 weeks.
Yeah, but the thing is, he was brought in, Iggy, to lift us a bit, right?
He can't. He's not going to do it alone, though, is he?
I said it when we signed him. This is a joke of a signing. This is another Dan Juma. He'll score a couple of goals. He'll score a couple of goals and he'll get a couple of assists.
Sorry, go on.
Right. Like I said, right. In isolation, I don't think Timo's a bad loan signing, whatever we're going to call it, right? Because he's better than, in isolation, for me, Gill and Solomon, right? However, if you're coming at it from a perspective of our recruitment strategy under Levy and what we've done in the past, then you're right. It's not good enough. I'm not sure why we brought him in.
This is my point. Was like literally when you go, we've gone through whatever we've gone through so far this season. We all said, and I'm sure they're not stupid as well. They would have said, "We'll see where we are Christmas time, see where we are at the end of the year. It's a good opportunity to kick on." Out of all the pain that we've been through, the injuries, the stuff like that, you go right now. Ange and his squad would like a lift. Right, couple of good signings, kick on for the back end of the season. Just guess what? We've got Maddison coming back. Guess what? We'll have Sonny coming back. We'll have Basuma. We'll have Papasar. The defense is sorted. Get a couple of people just to give everyone a lift and raise everyone's bar. We're going to get someone with speed.
Guys, I don't know who it is, but someone's got either a messenger or a piece in the background. It keeps going. Blah, blah. Someone's got something on.
Have a little look. Receiving emails or something.
Yeah, I can hear it. There's two other players I want to talk about. Okay, and I'm not here to go in on them because I've done that. You know what I think of them, but we need to speak about it, right? The first one is this guy. Right. The price tag is not his fault. We can't blame him that he's £50 million. That's Tottenham. They've spent the money.
No, you can't. No. Okay, I really want to speak on this, right? You can't. Fuck me. You can't blame him as an individual, right? But it's a marketplace, and things get assigned a value, right? And if you get assigned that value as an individual, right, then you have to. People think you're worth that value. So whether or not he's in control of it is by the by. As a professional footballer, his agent obviously thinks he's that value because he's getting the salary for it and getting the commission and stuff. And so do the club, and so does the selling club. So it's relevant. the amount of money he costs. That's the ecosystem. That's the marketplace for football. You can't just say, oh well, he doesn't decide what his value is, so it's not his fault. Of course, it's his fucking fault. If he wants more money, and if he wants to move to the bigger clubs, then you got to play well, and then you'll be worth the money, and that's why the big clubs buy you.
Well, I wasn't saying the price isn't his fault, as in his performance. I mean, I think if he was like 20 million and not working out, I don't think
it wouldn't matter so much.
The criticism would be as heavy, but because we've spent big, it's everyone's, because the expectation goes up with the price tag.
Let me give you the analogy. Right, you're a racing car team, right, and you go and spend 20 grand on a shit box to race around the track, right, and it does all right, and you're quite happy with it, right?
Yeah.
And then another team goes and spends £500,000 on a race car, and it doesn't quite perform that well, right? Of course, it's the race car's fault that you just bought. You don't say to the race car, well, you never told yourself that you're not 500 grand. Otherwise, you don't work hard, and you wouldn't work hard to be that at that level.
Yeah, but I just feel that the price tag has inflated the criticism on
expectation of him as well. Though.
Yeah.
The price tag only comes into it when a player's not performing. When you go out to eat, the price has only become a subject because the food is shit. If the food is good, you don't mind paying the price.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's all it comes down to. The price factor only comes if the goods are not to the standards.
But the expectation of him, though, the expectation of him, watching him so far for Forest, was there that expectation that, irrespective of the fact that we paid 50 million for him, the fact that he's come in, suddenly he's going to be up here? Where did that expectation suddenly come from?
Do you know what? Do you know what I think's happened to Brennan Johnson? All right, and again, we're going to find out next season. There are certain players at a lower level that is a comfort zone where the pressure isn't that of a top 6 club that you must get Champions League. Yeah, and I think when you look at, and it's not just this happened to Sessegnon. He was actually flying at Fulham, comes to Spurs. Okay, he's had a lot of injuries, but even when he's played for us, he's
Sigurdsson. He was massive at Swansea.
He comes to
Spurs. Came to us, didn't work out.
Brennan Johnson, Emil Heskey at Leicester City was brilliant. He goes to Liverpool. Wilfried Zaha at Crystal Palace, unplayable. Goes to Man United, drowned. Now he's at Galatasaray. There's certain players that just can't make the step up to the higher pressure level, and you see it in Brennan Johnson's face. He's got no confidence. He's like a broken player.
But
you can see.
The prime thing was him turning back. When you go, you could put your afterburners on now.
He hasn't got confidence, JP. He doesn't believe in himself.
No, but that's what I mean.
Level.
That's what I mean. And the prime thing there is he stops and turns back and plays the safe pass. Whereas I'm sure the manager tells him, "Don't worry about it."
Do you feel that as a fan base?
I don't think he cuts it.
As a fan base inside the stadium, we're doing enough to help him.
No way. But when you're going to charge fans,
players get a lot worse. 70,
see, this is the problem.
I'm asking a question. I'm just.
No, Iggy, we don't.
He's one of our own, man. He's one of our own. If a player's struggling,
yeah, but
need to get behind him. Yeah, no,
this is the problem that certain football clubs have created for themselves. Okay, we do not give him the support he needs in the stadium. He definitely gets put under pressure. However, when you're going to charge a customer 70, 80 pounds for a ticket, they're not there to be cheerleaders. They're there to be entertained and to see success.
Exactly. The marketplace.
I agree with you. Lower the ticket price, like Haringey Borough, Enfield Town, Barnet. And you know what? As long as I've got a pie, do what you want, lads. I'm
exactly.
I'm here for
exactly. Spot on.
I think that's a problem at all probably big 6 top 10 clubs.
And let's be honest, this is why I guess why get into Timo Werner with FFP Kings of the universe, right? We pay the most money to get in. We want quality world class players. Otherwise, why are we paying the money to go in?
And that's why, because when Estelle was saying the expectation against City, I think a lot of people also probably got a little bit fell in fairy tale land in terms of Madison's coming back. We've got he's going to be all right, kind of like we'll be all right. He's coming back. Plus, City are a bogey team. The expectation for that game was high. The
Yeah, it was
expectation that we were going to beat City was high. You could
bogey
feel
team,
it.
and
You couldn't get a ticket.
we've been sucked in again. He sucked us in
Yep,
again. He's done it.
100%.
He's done it again.
100%.
Look, we'll find out. Look, Brendan Johnson will find out next season. I think this season's a write-off for him. Let's see. If he doesn't deliver next season, I think fans will just boo him out of the club in the end.
Yeah, but this
I
and
don't see
like, there's
fans
that
being
step. Like,
tolerant
there's that
again
step
next season.
still, right? Is it a 2-season chance for a player? So Richarlison's had 2 seasons now. This would be his second full season. Is it time to dump him now?
But he's a Premier League player.
Not
Why is he?
not a top level Premier League player.
That's the problem, JP.
That's
Then
the problem.
then we're not a top level Premier League club if we're signing non-top Premier League players, right?
And another thing is what? He's an international.
We don't
It's an
move. We
international.
don't move.
We've
We
got-
don't make move like a top 6 club. We make moves like
Brentford, Forest.
Brentford. Like, you
Palace.
know, we can get into Noosa. You know, if I don't know what's going on with Brentford.
That's
now,
not happening. I'm going to bring it up.
I heard
that's-
West Ham are going to
But
go and
that's
get
what
that
we're leading
Jota.
with. That's what we're
West
leading
Ham,
with.
West Ham
Yeah.
are going to go and get that Jota. I heard.
But that's how we're moving. We're not moving. We are at the bottom of that top 6. We are at the bottom of the 6 in terms of how we move.
Our
So how our
expectations should be that's where
expectations,
we finish, right?
yeah, how our expectations could be on par of what those teams above want to do. I don't know, because I don't see us
It's
moving.
him. It's him. Dark horses.
Yeah, him and
We're dark
listen,
horses. It's him.
I don't see how we
Hold tight.
I said
Don't-
top four this season will be
Listen,
an achievement with this team.
I stick by what I said, right? I stick by what I said.
We're Lloyd's Bank.
If we bought 3 good level players in January, I think it would have been game on. We haven't. We don't know if he's good yet. We hope he's good. A defender that's on the bench as cover. And then we signed Timo, right? So like we haven't done what I was hoping we'd do. But then the excuses are no one's bought anyone. It's financially difficult.
Bringing in
And the only
Timo
reason we
means
bought
nothing to me.
Dragusin is because we've got the financial power, the rest haven't. And there's your excuse. You know, it's there.
But seriously,
I wanna-
to me, bringing Timo Werner in means nothing's changed there.
I told you, it's Danjuma part 2. Timo Werner is the German Danjuma. I don't see what the hype is. The other player I want to talk to you guys is this, right? Richarlison. Now, he did nothing in the game, although defensively he did well. He did hold up the play and win quite a few fouls for us, so he did stifle Man City in that respect. But look, Richarlison this season has scored 6, I think, goals. Most of them are headers, a couple of tap-ins. His one-on-ones are non-existent, and he hasn't really created much. So I looked at it, and I thought to myself, if he's going to stay at Spurs, he needs to have an impact when it matters. Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, Jurgen Klinsmann, Teddy Sheringham, Dimitar Berbatov, Robbie Keane, they scored in big games. Maybe not all of them, but they scored in big games against the top clubs. The top 7 clubs in the league right now, Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, Spurs. Take Spurs out because he can't play against us. And then it's Aston Villa, West Ham, and Brighton. Those 6 teams, we've played them all once, and we've played Man City twice. Richarlison hasn't scored against any of them. And he's featured in all those games. He hasn't scored once. So when you need someone to give you something against Villa or against West Ham or against Brighton when they're peppering us or against Man City or against Arsenal, he failed to deliver. is that reasons to not keep him, guys? Because people say to me, "Oh, but he can be an impact sub." But then, like, my argument back is, no, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is an impact sub. He comes off the bench and scores against Bayern Munich in a Champions League final. That's an impact sub. If Richarlison's here just to, score against Sheffield United, Nottingham Forest, Burnley, is that justifiable to stay at Spurs? Like, what's your thoughts on it? Because for me, I don't see how that takes us up to the next level when Kane and Son were doing it against everyone. What's your thoughts, guys? Or am I being harsh on Richie and I just hate him? Like, where are we at?
Not good enough. Get rid.
Get rid of him.
It's just not good enough. He won't get us 20 goals a season. Nowhere near. And we require something more. I'm not saying Harry Kane, because he's just done a level on his own. Look, even with Harry Kane, we wasn't able to achieve the things that we wanted to achieve. So for me, we require a different kind of animal as a number 9 in front of goal. I don't see what would be the use of having him as a sub. He's not somebody that would fit that role, that would take on that role. If anything, will end up sulking because he doesn't want to be that player. So for me, his level is the level that he came from in Everton. That all due respect, and he will do well there. And also, the counter-attacking teams will fit his style better than the way that we play. You have to look at characteristics and say we need something else.
I think the team that crosses the ball into the box loads suits Richarlison.
Yeah, but we don't play that football. We don't play, so his characteristics as a player do not suit our play. The same can be said about Højbjerg. His characteristics does not suit the way we play now. So and it could be said out of 2 or 3 others, but I don't feel he would bring us what we require. And also, you need to have a forward that sends an element of fear in your position. I don't see how he does that. I don't see that he gives us that. There are certain number 9s you're thinking, if we're not on it today, this guy's going to kill us. And that's what I mean. I want to see a number 9 that strikes fear in opponent centre backs, and he doesn't. He doesn't do it for me. I think the guy tries. Don't get me wrong. He puts himself about, like Maz said earlier on. He put some tackles in. He tried to help us out in the defensive point of view. But ultimately, whilst that is all great and it's a great attribution to have as a player, especially an attacking one, fundamentally he needs to be a fear to be reckoned with in where it counts. And he's not that player. He's not going to create something out of nothing. He's not going to be like, bloody hell, we haven't had a shot and go, bang, there it is, goal. It is not that player. And to expect that from him is not fair either, because he isn't that player. He didn't come with that. He didn't come with that bag. That baggage. So I didn't come.
Well, it depends who you speak to.
No, he didn't. When did you see him at Everton pick up the ball 30 yards out, bang, top bins? He was never that player. He was that player that will work the channels, counter attack. They'll put a vertical ball in the channels. He'll go run and bang, finish. That's the kind of player that you're getting in behind of a team that played low block, and he will get fed those balls that would be in a one-on-one situation with the keeper. Those are the kind of balls he was scoring. That was the kind of chances he was taking away. The ones I saw against for Everton were those. Now he's done well with the headers. He puts some crosses. He's always a threat in the air, corners, set pieces. He's always a threat. There's no 2 ways about that. Is he characteristics-wise a player that plays that suits us? No. Is he that guy that's going to score 20 goals a season? No. Why is he there then? So that's the reality, guys. Whether we admitted to it or not is another matter.
So that's £65 million striker, a £50 million winger, and neither work for us at the moment.
Iggy,
that's
but when you say
£15 million worth spent.
But Iggy, when you say he's always a threat in the air, I don't agree. Because if he was always a threat in the air, then you'll score against the top 6 teams, right?
But we're not a team that puts a lot of balls in the air either, apart from corners. When do you ever see players Udogi and Pora are not those players? They play very. We know they're inverted wingers. They don't go to the byline and put those balls in. They don't do that. It's not part of their game.
Is it simple? When Sonny comes back, he goes in the middle, Timo's on that side,
Well, it's going to look like
Kulu on
that
the
way.
other side, and that's it, right?
It's
Drop
gonna
him,
look that way. It's gonna look like with Timo wide, who technically still is better than Richarlison. So, and he is the better out of all the players that can play wide left. Timo would be the best one that we have currently, even ahead of Solomon, in my opinion.
Charlison is better than Isak. I don't know about that.
Nah,
Stephanie's winding us up.
no,
She's winding
no,
us up. She's
no.
pulling her leg.
Isak's
She's
a
pulling
better
her leg.
player. He's a player. I tell you what,
What
Isak
annoys me
would be
about
a
him?
really good player for us. Isak will suit us.
Isak suits us. Yeah.
What annoys me about him, Miggy, is he spends so much time on the floor. He's always falling
Yeah.
down.
But
Literally,
he was always. He's
he
not
plays
been
for
that
the
player at
fire.
Tottenham. He was that player at Everton as well.
Yeah,
It's not. We're not seeing anything different, really and truly, guys.
He's got a really bad first touch, a bad second touch. You guys have said it. I don't need to say any more about it.
and I think that's the frustration. While people stick up for him, and fair play to sticking up for him, and give him a chance and stuff. But there's only so many chances you can give someone. Because at the end of the day, what do we want? We want to see success for our football team. We want to see our strikers scoring goals.
If we're winning games, right, and he plays against Man City and he scores a tap in and we win, he can stay. But we're not winning the games. So if we're not winning, then why is he there?
I think Richarlison
is Harry Kane is hard boots, man, to fill.
It's
very difficult.
I don't think anyone has the expectation.
I don't think the expectation is on that. I don't think for any player.
Pedro Neto, we can get
Any
Richarlison.
player.
You know what is Richarlison? His work rate, you can't fault him. His commitment to the cause, you can't fault him. He's physical. He doesn't back out of a challenge. He doesn't back out of a one-on-one. Right? He's not a chicken, and he does have the occasional tap in and header in him. The issue I've got is Man City wouldn't touch him. Liverpool wouldn't touch him. No club that is ambitious for the biggest honours in football touches him. So if we touch him, what does that say about us? And that's where I don't hate him or nothing like that. I don't know him to hate him. He's just not the level that I want Spurs to be at. I watch him play and I think...
I think that could be part of the issue.
I don't enjoy watching you play football.
Your expectation of this team may not be matched. It clearly isn't matched. Your expectation where you want to see Tottenham is not the expectation that Tottenham have from themselves. That's also reality.
But hold on a minute.
It's true.
We were bringing in better quality players even when we didn't have any expectations. We brought in Defoe, Keane, Pavlyuchenko,
Ericsson, Bale,
whatever. Before we
scouting was a lot better though back then.
Well, but what I'm trying to say is I don't think Stell's asking for. Well, maybe you are still, but I don't think Stell's saying, "Oh, I want."
I'm not asking for
Ronaldo and Messi and
forget that.
Yeah, I think Stell's just saying. I mean, Frederick Canute, when he was I really liked him when he was at Spurs. He had quality about him because score amazing goals.
Canute's better than Richarlison.
Exactly. We've really stepped back in the quality of players we're signing.
None of the players.
At one time we had Berbatov, Kane, Defoe, and there was someone else. We had 4 quality strikers.
I think we had 3 at that time. But listen, we've always had good strikers.
And then we played 2 up front.
And then we dropped the occasional stinker like a Soldado and Adebayor. Do you know, even Adebayor was a half-decent striker. He just had a stinky attitude.
Bobby Zamora.
He was a mercenary, but he was a good striker, Adebayor.
He was a good one. Bobby Zamora.
Dempsey, bring Dempsey back. He'll do better.
Or even Pavlyuchenko.
Yeah.
Super Pav.
Yeah.
The one other player I want to talk about, guys, before we move on. And listen, I've always defended him. But I'm going to ask the question. Is he good enough for us to go forward? I don't know what his best position is. Out wide, he hasn't got the pace. In the middle, he goes missing sometimes. But we know he's got a shot at him. We know he can bully players. His work rate, you can't say he doesn't run. But from the first 4 months when he joined us, where we were blown away by him, he hasn't really replicated that with consistency. And we're playing a better style of football now. Is it a case that he's only really good when our best team's on the pitch, so he's on the same wavelength as that? And if that's the case, is that a worry that he's not really going to do much for us then if we haven't got good players on the pitch with him? Or is he overhyped?
Well, look, for me, in the wide areas, I honestly think we need something else. We need something a bit more like with the characteristics of Timo. I do believe that. Like, what I'm saying is fast, quick, technical, but obviously the difference to Timo is someone that can actually finish the chances created as well, to be a weapon in front of goal. Kulu's not that kind of winger. Kulu's the kind of winger that allows the fullback to go on the overlap and stuff like that. He cuts in and does this thing there. He links up where I think he'd do well with Benson and Madison when they're back, and Son. I think certain players, when they're on the same wavelength, they understand each other a lot quicker. So I think in the 10 it works, but against certain teams, listen, against Man City it didn't work. It didn't work. It worked away from home. It worked away. And when we played them, and this time I'm not saying he is the number 10 because Madison's going to play that role. So he's only going to play wide right in this team when Madison is fit, which he is as of next game. He's going to probably start. So that's where.
Are we living off Kulu having a game or two at most decent in the number 10 in the last
Listen, Maz,
6-7
for me,
games?
if Spurs decide to sell him because we're going to look for different type of wingers, I wouldn't say no to him going.
I don't want him to leave Spurs.
We do require a squad, though. We do
But
require
is he good enough for an impact sub?
Absolutely, yeah. I think he's a good player. I think there is a good. There clearly is a good player in him because he's had good spells. And in the first 10 games, I think a couple of those games he really saved us, isn't he? And he scored some really key.
I'd have him in a squad for sure.
Goals.
I
like him as a player.
Brennan Johnson?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Is he better than Timo Werner?
JP,
he's better than what we got.
You're better than Johnson.
Is he better than Skip?
You're better than
Højbjerg.
Our wide players at the moment, the best wide players that we got in a squad right now are Timo and Kulu. There's no two ways about it. We don't have better players in a white nose in their respective spot, right and left.
I think Solomon's better than Timo personally.
Well, we have to see and wait. We have to judge. We have to see him on a pitch.
What I saw the first 3-4 games, I think Solomon's better.
Well, you saw him that one game where he scored 2 goals still, and that's lived in your mind ever since.
We're talking pre-season.
He actually laid it off to Son.
Listen, he took on a player. He beat a man. Who
was it against Fulham? Was it against Fulham?
It was pre-season, man.
Burnley.
That's it. Yeah.
It's a long time ago.
At home, we couldn't do anything against Burnley in the cup. So let's not knock that 5-2 performance away.
True.
No, I'm not knocking him, but I feel like it's been a long time since he last played, and he's still got yet to do. I'm saying right now, from what I've seen, those are the 2 players wide that are better than anyone else.
Guys, have we played well in recent times? I know we're saying, I know Man United.
First 10 games at the start of the season.
Yeah.
We did.
I'm talking kind of 7-8 games. I thought Man United.
You're right.
I think that was a good performance. But when the last time we played, other than Man United,
chopping and changing over the game, chopping and changing.
I think you're right.
Newcastle,
I don't think we have played
well. Newcastle, we were all right, weren't we?
Newcastle,
yeah. Newcastle.
We were shocking. Burnley.
It hasn't been consistent.
Villa at home, I know we lost. Villa at home, I know we lost. It was good against Villa.
Yeah,
chances we should have battered.
There has been lots of chopping and changing.
Against Bournemouth and Everton, I thought they matched us. I thought at times they were better than us, if I'm honest.
But we've had a lot of chopping and changing, man.
There's a big drop off.
It's where Everton. I'm not talking about us playing Arsenal or Man City or Liverpool.
Everton.
But there is a big drop off though. Still, like if you take Basuma out and put Skip in, or if you take Papasar away and put Højbjerg in, there's a massive
So,
drop.
JP, are we saying? And by the way, I'm just asking: are we saying 2 injuries and with the equivalent of Everton and Bournemouth?
Yes.
Well, without Madison, we've literally been shagged, haven't we?
Right, you're not supposed to say that.
Sorry.
Without
Listen,
Madison, we've
Hey,
been
That's worrying.
Madison,
Honestly, that's worrying.
Son.
2 or 3 injuries and
Madison's-
we're Everton. That's
Yeah, of
worrying.
course. Madison,
worrying.
Son, the 2 centre backs.
We're not that bad.
We're in trouble, man. We had the
Yeah.
2 centre backs out. Madison. Yeah, we was in trouble.
It doesn't help, right, when you've got players like Lo Celso that literally can't stay fit for longer than 10 minutes in the Premier League. It's just like,
And you know what? He was looking good as well again.
exactly. I've had enough of him now. I don't, even if he stays fit now from now until the end of the season, he should just go. He should just go.
So many, Maz, so many.
Well, it's like Sessegnon. It's like, what is the point? It's just cancel the
He's
contract.
injured again, isn't he?
Yeah, it's just forget it. Just
He came back for 10 minutes and he's injured again.
I mean, didn't he cancel? Who was that? Who was our right back? What was his name again? Blimey, who cancelled the contract?
Doherty.
No, not Doherty. Yeah, him, Doherty as well. But the other chap
Cancelled his contract.
Yeah, he was part of the. He was friends with Sissoko and oh God, what's his name?
Aurier.
That's it, Serge Aurier. Well, we cancelled his contract, and he was better than Sessegnon.
Do you know what?
I think the problem with Sess is we literally wanted Sess forever.
Doherty's contract is better than Sessegnon.
Do you know what? Do you know what we still do at Spurs? And I think this is one of the reasons we kind of find ourselves
drag up all the shit players from the past.
we get rid of the shit. We get rid of the shit, but somehow we sneak more in. We sneak new ones in.
You know what's really? I'll tell you what's really worse is when what's really worse is when you got the current players and you started to you miss the ones that went.
Yeah, it's exactly what I mean, Nicky. It's exactly what I mean.
We started saying Pavlyuchenko and all those boys like that, and just
thinking, I would take. I love Pav,
but
even though he was like hot and cold.
That tells you the level where we're at. That's the definition there of where we're at right now. If you started to miss those players,
I want to bring up a question. I did mention earlier. I think there is a serious debate. We won't have a big debate on it, but look, it needs to be had, in my view, right? So we're out the cup. We've been talking about it for a while. We have won this cup though, the FFP Cup, with a richest club in London because of all the events we do, and we've overtaken Chelsea and Arsenal to be the richest club in London, generating £550 million worth of revenue.
Yeah.
There's the list for the world. We're 8th in the world,
but that's Chelsea. 2020 though.
Oh, sorry, this is the last one. No, you're right. It's this one here. Beg your pardon. Yeah, beg your pardon. We're 8th in the world, above Chelsea and Arsenal. And we are above Arsenal by 100 million euros. So it's not even close. We've got fans bantering Chelsea fans and Arsenal saying, I can't seem to find Arsenal and Chelsea on the list. I'm confident their fans will soon comment and clarify everything from us. And one Chelsea fan replied with the list of 20 trophies. I mean, he battered that comment. I thought, why would you do that to us? Why would you call out Chelsea and Arsenal?
Still, my best mate's a Chelsea supporter, and every time I banter him, he goes, "Yeah, but Maz," he goes, "We've won the whole set, mate. We've got the whole set." And I'm just like, "Oh, okay."
and then this, I think this fan replied, "If the majority of our fan base demanded more excellence from the club, its ownership would have more trophies." And it all kicked off, and I thought, do you know what? We're out the cups in the early round again. Money this, money that, financial this and that. And then one fan, who's a neutral fan, took all of this, did a 1-minute video saying,
Was that a Man United fan?
Stop the whole conversation about the big six. It's just the big five. Why are Spurs in the conversation right now? My reaction was to hit back and cuss his club because he wasn't even one of the big six clubs. I just cussed it. And his reply to me was, "Yeah, but I'm not talking about my club. I'm talking about yours and them. I thought you're their rivals." I goes, "My club isn't the levels of yours." I thought, right, fair enough. On a serious note, and I'm not here to bash
It hit
Spurs.
a nerve. It hit a nerve still.
He wound me up, but then
It hit a
Iggy,
nerve.
but then
The nerve of truth.
right, nerve of truth,
Reality.
right? And then I had a show with Harry Scarf yesterday
We
on our
hear it all
channel.
the time.
Movie
Truth
Out.
hurts.
Yeah,
Listen,
big up, Harry. That was a good show.
Yeah, big up Harry Scarf. So I went and did some homework, and I looked at the 25 years of Levy and Enoch, and I compared it to 25-year blocks starting from 1900. Right now, when you look at league position, you can't knock Enoch and Levy. They haven't progressed us, but they haven't regressed us. They've maintained us as average 6th, 7th. So you have to say this ownership has kept us respectable in terms of where we are, 6th. When you look at top 4 finishes, they've done actually quite well. They're above average. We're 7th. So they finished in the top 4 slightly better than most other 25-year periods, and they've maintained us in terms of league position. So we can't bash them for maintaining what we've already achieved in the past 100 years. But that trophy column is horrific. Obviously, our best period was 51 to 75. We won 9 trophies. There's 2 trophies in the 26 to 1950 period, which might not be recognised because 2 of them were won during World War II, I believe, where the leagues got split into southern and eastern divisions and whatnot. So that's a little bit skewed, but nonetheless, they were official league trophies at the time. But this trophy column is what he was focusing on. And look, people will say, look, you've had chances, but you bottled it. Fans will say, yeah, but did we have the squad? Did we go into that game with the ability to beat a Man City and Liverpool? Guys, should we be part of a top 6, or is it really the top 5? If we're gonna be honest with what we are financially, we're there. Financially, we're there. In terms of maintaining top 6 status, we're there. And in terms of the amount of times we've got into the top 4, we have on quite a few years now knocked a couple of those clubs out of the top 4. But that trophy column.
What's the criteria of being top 6?
That's your average. That's your average.
We were out of that.
Well,
no. Trophies, we're not in the big 6.
Well, this is my question, guys. There's many factors what makes you a big 6 club. We tick all of them except for one: trophies. Is the lack of trophies enough to no longer say, Spurs, you're part of the top 6, it's a top 5? Or is it a case of, no, we're still there because we do finish average 6 and we do have the most amount of money? Is that enough to keep us in that conversation? And bear in mind, the European Super League, the 20 clubs that broke away, we were the only club that was there because of money, nothing to do with trophies. So, it's a horrible question. It's a horrible question.
Personally, I would say out of your stats that you had there, the middle one to me is irrelevant. Don't care about that. Okay. Personally, I don't care about that one. Right? The top one and the bottom one is where I care about. The bottom one means we've not really progressed in 20 odd years. And the
25 years. No, you're right. We haven't. We've progressed to the previous 25 years, but overall, we haven't.
Yeah, I mean, kind of averagely, we haven't, right? And the top one just says piss no, right? So, footballing wise, from a football club, as a football fan who goes to see football, that's poor. That's a poor return. Quarter century of my life has seen me win. I've been lucky enough, I'm old enough to see we've won a couple of things. So I remember the FA Cup in '81, but literally last 25 years of my life, it's just been one winning thing that I've had the pleasure of going to Wembley, going and seeing, being happy at actually winning something. The whole point about me being a football fan is not only just to go and see pretty football. Pretty football is nice. I want us to win something. I want to have that winning feeling.
JP, do you know what? I spoke to Marlon about this today from South Bucois, and his reply to me was, Man United and Liverpool are Tupac and Biggie. Arsenal and
Snoop.
Chelsea.
Chelsea, they're 50 Cent and Eminem. And Tottenham, we're Mace.
It's true, isn't it?
We get
Big up,
nominated for
Nolan.
awards, we get nominated for Grammys, but we win nothing. But we get nominated for it.
So basically, they're all brides, and we're just a bridesmaid that attends at every single wedding.
And I thought Mace was one of the rubbishest rappers, but he was on everyone's collaborations. And I thought, yeah, we're Mace.
Look, I think to answer your question, so I think if we value history, which we should, everyone should value history, then the answer is that yes, we're no longer really a top 6 club because we're not there on merit, right? And the merit that should count is the trophy cabinet, and we're just not there. But you could equally say that with Aston Villa, right? But although I think Aston Villa probably won more,
and Everton
Everton, yeah, and they'll probably feel the same, if not worse than us. But if we're honest, we're not a top 6 club because our history shows that we've fallen out of that.
Yeah, look, Smith in the comments makes a good point. He said that this Big 6 thing is only a recent kind of media.
No, Big 6 thing was there. I remember. I remember the Big 6 thing being there in the 80s when I first started following football.
You used to have Everton in it as well.
Yeah,
I thought it was a big thing. I thought it was a new thing from Sky over the past kind of 20 years.
No,
all right, fair enough.
It has been there forever, and as I say, I'm pretty sure that Everton were in it as well.
I think up until the 90s, I would have said, yeah, top 6 club. But 2000 onwards, 25 years, because you guys mentioned 25 years, last 25 years, I don't see how we can.
Do you know what? Iggy?
How we can be spoken about in the same category as all the other 5 teams? Given
but it's different. It's those different levels of conversations,
if we are, it depends what you're measuring it. If you're measuring it in terms of success on the field, on field success is what we're talking about. If we then want to talk about the club and how it's run and everything else, then fine, no problem.
No, but that's the level of conversation, Iggy. At that board level, with Levy and whoever the chairman is of those other clubs, they'll all be saying Tottenham are a Big 6 club. At us as fans level,
I don't see how we can put.
All right, let me ask you this then. All right, let me rephrase the question. Is it fair to say we're a Big 6 business, but we're not a Big 6 football club?
I don't really want to get into the whole business thing because for me,
that chart I had,
we're number one. We just had
more rows,
an article earlier on.
FFP, financial sustainability, but we're in the top 3.
No, we're top. And you see that article you just put up about half an hour
ago? That's London.
We're best in London.
Yeah, so Liverpool and Man United are above us, so we're top 3. But the fact is, as soon as you put the business and the finance element into it, we're actually a very powerful club.
It elevates us, yeah.
On the pitch, are we really?
You've just said it, Stel.
Is it a Big 6 club?
Yeah, but you've just said it. If we're measuring it, if we're a powerful institution, then yes, because the economy of the club shows that we are a powerful and we've got influence. However, this is an elite sport, and elite sport is judged on merit, and for you to be judged on merit, you have to win the league or win cups. This is where I disagree with Will
about
discounting. Yeah, this is where I disagree with Will about he says it's league or nothing for him. I disagree because football is built around the domestic cups and the other cups. It's not just built around the league.
But that's where I would say it shifted from a football club to a business.
I think
which other club out of those top whatever in the world. Even those other seven
But-
kind of like in front of us, right? Which one of those clubs can attract megastars to come and have concerts at their stadium? Which other stars can
I
attract
don't know.
NFL
Mega
teams to
players.
go and play there?
But we can't attract mega players though, right?
Yeah.
I can't
no,
extend. I
that's-
can't. I can never get my head around the fact how disproportionate we are in terms of on-field success and business. Why we
it's
can't
like that,
have
isn't
a
it?
balance?
It's like that, Iggy.
I can't understand why we can't have a balance. I'm not saying it has to be level. No one's ever said that, but why has to be such a gap? Like you're in the top 10 in
But
world
we've got
world
investment bankers
football.
running the club again. It's like we're like a
Exactly.
private
So
equity hedge fund.
what are we talking about here? This is what I'm saying. What are we
Well,
talking about here?
But
This is why I'm asking the question: what are we measuring this top six? What on what? If we're measuring it on success on the field, we shouldn't even be in a conversation.
Why? Let's do it from the perspective
That's
of a fan. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. Let's take it from the perspective of a fan. Do we all agree that a fan of a Big Six club goes to be entertained and they expect trophies to be won at some point? If I go back to this chart, right? If we look at it, on average, Spurs win a trophy once every 5 years. Okay, that's the average. Every 5 years, Spurs win a trophy if we average it out. We've now gone 24 years with one. So that average has completely gone to pot. So if we base it on being entertained, you'd say, do you know what we have been? Redknapp was good. Poch was good. We've currently got a good football manager now. Even the first 4 months of Conte, that getting top four was entertaining. Martin Joel's football at times was entertaining. So from an entertainment perspective, you say, yeah, do you know what? I've enjoyed watching Spurs. From a success point of view, trophies as fans, we're called Spursy. So if you look at it from a fan point of view, Iggy, what would you say? As a fan, do you feel that when you go to Spurs, when you support your club, do you feel you're part of the Big Six? Or do you feel like the other five, I don't feel part of that group? Like as a fan, how would you answer that?
Man City, Man U, Chelsea,
Liverpool and Arsenal.
They've all experienced success. Arsenal now, they've had the odd FA Cup and stuff
The
like
third
that.
most successful club in England still by trophies.
I agree, but they've had the FA Cup that they won under Arteta. But
Yeah, they won 4 or 5 FA Cups.
the league, in terms of league, because I'm measuring them with the other four. In terms of league, now they have. I think the last one they won was 2004. So it's 20 years now since they last won the league.
Yep,
So, with the exception of the FA Cup, it's probably what still allows. But soon enough, if they don't start winning in the same, forget Spurs. I'm not comparing Arsenal in terms of what they've on field success to Spurs, because their record's far better than ours. Of course it is. I'm not saying. I'm talking about in terms of the big five, if you like, the other four teams that I just mentioned. They are starting to fall behind those 4 or 5 teams if they don't start winning leagues again very soon. So if I say that about them in terms of how they're dropping off from the Man City, the Man United, the Liverpool and Chelsea, then where are we in that conversation? Way behind Arsenal. So in terms of success, Leicester City have won more than that.
Iggy, funny you say that, because since the year 2000, only 5 clubs have won every domestic trophy: FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and Premier League, and Leicester is one of those 5.
Exactly. So, in terms of this is what I'm saying. In terms of success on the field, this is why I was asking you guys, what are we? But we're measuring in terms of success on the field. They're better than us.
You as a fan, again, I'm asking you as a fan, when you go to Spurs, do you feel you're part of a Big Six club, or do you feel I'm at a club that feels big, but I'm not part of the other Big Six clubs?
No, it's exactly the latter, 100%.
And that's the question, right?
That's that latter, 100%. How can you say you see the size of the club, you see the size of the stadium, you see the size of the business side of it, and you see like, well, okay, but then it's like, then when we bring it down to what it's all about, football success on the field, we're nowhere near, man.
We're on the cusp of being usurped.
Not only are we not nowhere near it, we're not showing signs of being anywhere near it. We don't have even the ambition in terms of club. I don't see the ambition of us trying to even bridge the gap between ourselves and Arsenal, let alone Man United, Man City, Liverpool, and Chelsea. Between ourselves and Arsenal, trophy-wise, success on the field, I'm always referring to. For the other stuff, great. And I don't have a problem with any of that. The more money they can bring to the club, the better. But where's all this work, brilliant work, where's it reflected on-field success? How was any of it success? Not a percentage of it. Where's it been? I'll go back to that disproportion I was saying.
There is an imbalance. There is an imbalance. By the way, people in the comments saying, how many finals have we lost? You can't use that on the assumption that if we won those finals, that one would go to 4 trophies, because in the previous 25 years, we've lost finals as well.
Yeah, but
So
Chelsea have lost finals. Man City's have lost finals.
Yeah, but my point is, the finals we've lost in the past, if we won them, then the 25-year periods where we won 5 would be 7.
More.
And also, still, if we did win those 3 finals, right, which one of them would be the Champions League, but let's say we won, right, we would not be having this conversation now.
No
we
way.
Would, we would have been, we would have been complaining that. One year we won 9. One 25-year period we won 9, and this year we're on 4. We'll be over the moon with 4.
Listen, you live off. As a Spurs fan, we're living off that for the next 20 years. We could win nothing, get relegated like Leicester. I wouldn't give a shit, because I would tell every Arsenal fan, we won the Champions League. When have you done that? When have you done that?
The only thing we're living off at the moment is that we've won more. By the way, yeah, we've won more European trophies than Arsenal have,
and League Cups. The
League Cups. There we go. Yeah,
big up Murray, right?
And we're the FFP champions.
Why is Murray turned up looking like a pimp?
To answer your question, still about going to a stadium, right?
It's cold.
Are you off? See you later, man. Take it easy.
See you later to everyone. Bye-bye, everyone in the chat. Take care,
Mari's
guys.
come in like a Mexican gangster with his white coat.
In case anyone doesn't know who this is Huggy Bear from Starsky and Hutch.
It's Al Pacino, man.
It's freezing here in Orlando, man. I had to pick up the coat, get the fur, get coat out.
Sorry, JP.
Mari. What I was going to say was, you said, how do you feel going to the ground? Do you feel like a Big 6 club? I feel like I go to the ground with you and Iggy. You guys got Fila tracksuits on, and I've got a Fellini.
It's Fellini.
A fake market tracksuit, one of those knockoff jobs.
That's the thing with this Big 6 club. I said this last year, and I got a lot of
years.
Yes, it's freezing in Orlando, Florida cold, and I got a lot of pushback. But I have to be honest. We are a Big 6 in history, but in the last 20 years, we're not Big 6. There's no such thing as a Big 6, in my opinion. If that expiration date has passed, we have the potential to be relevant in the sense of Big 6, winning trophies, because that's what it's all about. It's about winning, It's
not every fan agrees with you, Mari. We've got a lot of fans that would take top 4 over FA Cup.
Yeah, that can't be me. I would take a Carabao Cup in a heartbeat.
That wasn't a dig at Will, by the way. There's a lot of fans online.
Harry in the show yesterday said that he's happy to wait until 2030 to see success. I'm not happy to wait until 2030 to see success. Got to be joking.
He's lucky I'm not his dad.
We've been waiting longer though, right?
Time's ticking. I'm going to be dead soon enough.
But you know what though? Like I said to Harry, I feel sorry for his generation, because I don't want to say they've been brainwashed, because that sounds like
they have been brainwashed.
They haven't got their own.
No, they have been brainwashed. No, still they have been brainwashed.
Yeah,
Levy's done the biggest number on them. the best brainwashing exercise I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, it's just. Listen, let's move on from it, because I do want to talk about Noosa. But first of all, there's a couple of super chats that came in that I want to cover. First of all, big up to Ryan Busy, member for 9 months. Thank you so much. He says, congrats on 10K. Thank you so much. Thanks for the hundreds of hours of Spurs talk. I listen to Yar while I work, and it makes my job easier. Good. Glad we can help you out, my man. It is a bit of therapy, isn't it? It's always good to listen to Spurs in the background. Thank you for your message. Appreciate it. Ryan Busy, channel member. Matt Coppin says Chesney Hawks is who we should have performing in the mud. And then there was one here earlier on, which is relevant to the chat now. Thank you to Spurs fan. He says Levy probably lowballed the Noosa deal that should have been done 2 weeks ago. Right, it's interesting this because obviously a lot's happened tonight during the show. There's been a lot of messages. So Daniela said the Noosa failed his medical, broken knee cartilage and back problems apparently. And then Spanner in the Works said Sky Sports reported Noosa Brentford deal. There are complications and the door is potentially reopening.
Yeah, it does.
Sky Sports understood there are complications. The door is potentially reopening to other clubs. Noosa is yet to have the medical with Brentford, so he hasn't had a medical yet, which contradicts what Daniela said. But then Mark comes in and says, no, I'll come back to that, Mark. Then Spanner in the Works comes in and contradicts himself and says, Brentford's deal for Noosa is now almost certainly off. Recently is due to knee and back issues during the medical. It's understood the knee issue is potentially quite serious. So, look, if he's failed a medical and it's down to an injury, which is serious, then one, we've dodged a bullet, and two, no one's going to touch him this window. So
he's only a young kid as well, isn't he?
Can't believe you're interested in buying another injury-prone player. Amazing. It's amazing, isn't it?
Laz, come on, let's be fair. Cess is going to leave soon.
Well, we've got Lo Celso. Yeah.
We do need someone else. We do need someone else to take up that.
Yeah, and Lo Celso as well. Yeah.
I say this. What had me laughing? What I love about this fan base, but let alone the journalists. They were like, "Okay, the news deal has fallen off." Did you guys see the Joshua Kimmich rumor?
Oh yeah.
There is no way possible we are going to get Kimmich, let alone pay the money for Kimmich. I mean, I saw that and I just laughed. I just like, nah, that's rubbish. I mean, yeah, Kimmich will be a great signing. I mean, I would jizz my pants if that was able to happen. But that would never, ever, 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 ever happen at Spurs. How many evers have you put?
He's got 2 knees.
Just
he's got another one.
Yeah, never. That signing.
Oh, Noosa. He's
seriously, guys, if we actually sign this guy now, this Noosa guy, what would your reaction be?
I'd lose the plot because we know he's got a broken leg.
Yeah,
we know he's got a problem, right? The Spurs won't. They're not going to spend £30 million on a kid who's.
Yeah, well,
because he's too young. And stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, we were going to buy him and send him back anyway, weren't we?
Do you know what's weird here, though? Do you know what's really weird? Part of the deal, whether it was Spurs or Brentford that got him, was going to be that he goes back on loan to Club Brugge. Why would Club Brugge want him back if he's injured? Did they even know about it? Or were Brentford signing him now?
Well, he hasn't been playing, has he? He hasn't really been. He's not a first teamer, is he, for them? I'm pretty sure he's not.
Something stinks here. Here. The fact that, do you know what? It was weird the way Brentford just came in and just nabbed him underneath our noses. Although, I mean, look, the story was Brentford had reached an agreement with Noosa, a deal in place for excess of 30 million. Green light also on the player's side. He's staying at Bruges till the end. Right, so he was going to stay into the season. Yeah. So that's weird that because the club would have known he's injured. They would have known he would have failed the medical going to Brentford, or Spurs. He's gone to the English club. He's failed the medical, so now they've probably pulled out. But he was always going to go back to Bruges. So Bruges knew that. Why would they want an injured player back? I don't understand that.
Unless they were just going to nurse him back. Like maybe that was their underlying thing was if we sell him.
But then they knew he'd failed the medical. Then they knew he'd failed the medical in the transfer.
we'd keep him and nurse him back to in a year's time. He'll be all right.
Yeah, but then they knew he'd fill the medical, and the club they were selling to wouldn't sign him. I don't get it.
On the hope that they do a medical when they take him.
Or he somehow scams the medical, and they do an X-ray, but they swap over the X-rays or something.
Guys, I know I came in late. Did you guys also see that a former Big Ange player? You think we will have the advantage against this player?
Jota.
Jota went to West Ham. Like Jota.
Has he gone to West Ham, or are they trying to get him?
Yeah, I mean, I saw earlier that he went to what he's. I mean, he's signing with West Ham.
I saw earlier they were trying to get him.
He's better than anything we've got in that front line.
I mean, they got Kudus, they got Jota, and we're stuck with Brendan Johnson and Madden Solomon. It's West Ham. Oh, big up Marlon, big up well, big up guys. No, I mean they signed Kudus. If they signed Jota, I mean we're stuck with Brendan Johnson and Madden Solomon. Is West Ham a bigger club than us? I mean, like seriously, like it's just oh man.
If we got Jota instead of Timo, I'd be half excited about that. I'd say, do you know what? I'm interested to see how this one works out. This is a player that's proven himself under Ange.
And he's worked with under Ange. You know, I mean, I would have like okay, you know, but gosh, West Ham.
I'm a bit surprised that Ange hasn't gone for some of those Celtic players that really worked under him. Yeah, like Kyogo and that. Oh, I can't remember their names now at Celtic, but they had a good midfielder that looked quite good. And Jota as well. I'm just surprised because all of the hype around Ange was that he knew all of these players around Asia. Don't be surprised if we're going to bring in some unknown Japanese players and all this sort of stuff. And none of that has really happened. Let's be honest. You're right still in what you were saying in the last few shows is that we've gone out and we've bought Solomon, right? We've gone and Werner and guys that never really made it in the Premier League. You know, Johnson. You know, we'll wait to see about Johnson, but it's a bit weird, isn't it? It's really weird.
I'll tell you what's weird. Any manager that comes to Spurs doesn't seem to bring players from their previous club with them. Poch did the same. Didn't even get Mane. Didn't bring in Lallana.
Well, he brought Mane to the club, didn't he? Except
not to Tottenham.
Well, he literally
got Wanyama.
because they. Well, I mean, they agreed a fee and stuff, and then Levy changed his moment, didn't he? At the last minute.
Jose never brought any of their ex players, and Ange doing the same. It's almost. See, this is why I'm very dubious as to how the transfers really, really work at Spurs, and whether or not I believe managers what they say. I'm always very skeptical about it all because, you know, Klopp got Liverpool, Southampton players to Liverpool, but Poch, who knew them, couldn't. And we had Paul Mitchell, who was the chief recruiting guy from Southampton as well, to come.
Because they're willing to spend big money on one or two players rather than split their budget over several players.
But guys, Perisic wasn't exactly in his prime the way Mane and Lallana were, right?
He was on a free as well, wasn't he?
He played 1 year for us, and that was it. And he ran out of steam the second half of the season. I don't know. It's an interesting one.
Did Conte said still, right? You need to bring in 2 60 to 70 million pound players every window. Not 4 players, not 5 players, 2 world-class players every window.
Quality over quantity, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Quality over quantity. Listen, I think you can do a bit of everything. I think you can have some good young players like we've seen with Adogi, Van de Ven.
Angelo saying there was a bit of the deal to get Ange was that we couldn't nick any of their players.
We don't know. It's all speculation. But I think when you build a team, I think you can have young players like Adogi, Pape Sarr, Van der Ven. I think you can have some experienced players like Romero, Madison, Bentancur. But then there comes a point where you need some elite players like Son and Kane. You need 4 or 5 elite players. And now you've got the balance where you can say maybe we can do something. But when you never bring that,
I mean,
the stardust. That's what Salah called it. Stardust.
Listening to what you're saying, though, still,
You're always going to fall short.
We've got
Against
those
Liverpool.
we've got those youngsters, and we've
Yeah.
got experience at the back, right? We've got youngsters in midfield like your Madisons and Bentacles, and then we've got your Papa Sars, right? And be it Brendan Johnson if you want. It is literally, and we have Son, and it's literally getting someone else in lethal, right? But it's only his first year so far, right?
Yeah.
Does it need?
He brought in Timo, he brought in Beliz, he brought in Brendan Johnson, and he brought in Solomon. So that's 4 attacking players. None of them are good.
But does it need more time to get those that elite player the next time around? Who knows?
I don't know, because we go for one goalie, it's perfect. We go for one left back, it's perfect. We go for one centre back, he's perfect. We go for another centre back, he looks good. We bring in Madison. We seem to sign every deal we've made has worked out really good. But then as soon as you get to the attacking part, we've just I don't know, we've shut the bed.
Yeah, and I was listening to one of the shows of the weekend. It is really sad because I became a Spurs fan because we had the Defoes, the Bales, the Keens, the Berbatovs. Like our forward, like one thing that was guaranteed, we always had forwards who can score. Now, other than Sonny, like we got Johnson. I mean, like, you know, it's downright atrocious. It's embarrassing. I mean, literally, even we had Lennon. I mean, I can name Dempsey. I mean, like people could put the ball in the net. Like, and now we have like Johnson and we got Timo Werner. It's just if we go way back, Janola. But like I've always known that we've had forwards who could at least be a threat of scoring, and now it's just like watching Friday's game. It was just kind of like depressing. This really is like depressing. It's just I don't know, man.
You missed the early part of the show. Honestly, my heart sank in that game because I have said all along, dark horses. If we get 3 good signings, I still think. By the way, we will get top 4, but I'm a little bit worried about that comment as well now. But what I saw against Man City was that when reality hits you, and I don't know, man. I lost faith. Not in Ange. I haven't lost faith in Ange. I lost faith in the reality of where we're going. I think we're going in the right direction to become a top 4 team and stay top 4. Maybe sneak a Carabao Cup in the next 3 years. But when I think of league titles, European trophies, FA Cup, the teams that we're going to have to beat, I don't know, man. My heart sank in that game. It did. I felt very, very. It wasn't deflation. It wasn't frustration. It was. I've seen this before, man. I've read this book many a time.
No, guys, I can't go into.
I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong.
I can't go into next season, man. Yeah, look at the names: Defoe, Berbatov, King, Janola. I can't go into next season with that same phone line, man. We got to pay. Like I don't. People think we need 1 forward. Like we need. I think we need 2 or 3 minimum. 2 or 3 forwards, quality forwards. I can't go into next season with Johnson, man. I can't go into next season with Johnson. We have to search in Europe or around the world.
European football as well next year. So there's a lot of games next year. Plus, we don't have cover for the wing backs. We have no cover for the wing backs.
What's the succession plan for Son? Because he's going to be 31. He's going to be going on to. He's getting older, right?
Timo Werner.
The Son, like who
JP,
who
don't go.
who we're gonna rely on for goals up top? Like there is like no like it's just downright frustrating. We can't get one for the future going into next season. We need to sign a quality 23, 24-year-old who could score. I mean, it's like seriously.
I ran a poll on the channel in the comments tonight. We've had 260 votes. So that's almost everyone who's been watching the show tonight. Thank you everyone for voting.
Pick up everyone.
I asked the question: are you convinced Spurs will win trophies under Ange with Levy as chairman? 28% said yes, 45% said no, 28% said not sold yet. So there's a mixture of confidence.
I mean, it's people waiting for another couple of windows, I suppose.
And waiting to see more. So,
I mean,
so it's a mixed bag.
Our figures,
but
still, our figures will be skewed based on us being a Levy out channel, right? And our regular watchers and viewers will vote in a certain way more so. I think if you did that poll to the wider Spurs fan base, I reckon loads of them would think that Ange can win, because that's just what they do for every single manager until we don't win again.
Do you know what's funny though? When I do it on the YouTube community page, where there's, I mean, you got like almost 11,000 people there, whereas this is 260. I often find it's the same. And what I've also noticed, the majority of people that watch us aren't Levy out; they're somewhere in the middle. We got, I'd say, a third of Levy out, 5-10% of Levy in. There's a big chunk that is kind of they're like Harry Scarf. I'm Levy out this year. No, I'm Levy in next year. I'm Levy out this. You know, they go where the wind blows.
It's luck one year, it's skill the next year.
Yeah. And I think, do you know? I think most of our fan base are like that, because last year the Levy out thing was blowing up. This year, this is brilliant. We're all on board. So it completely did a 180.
No, but the sentiment has shifted, hasn't it? Because suddenly we won the first 10 games or whatever it is. Momentum was with us, and it's only recently since we've kind of had to take stock of all of those injuries and end up with no one. But again, the disappointment comes with knowing that we've got a transfer window and an opportunity to get a couple to kick on. We've not really taken that step.
Alex, box office, I know you want to come on, but I'm about to wrap it up in 5 minutes. That's why I didn't bring you on, bro. Yeah, no, listen, I always bring on Alex, but we're gonna wrap up in a minute.
Alex was singing the other day, man. He was singing Jazzy B songs the other day on his video. Big up to him. Back to life. It's after the
he was singing.
Back to life. Isn't that Soul to Soul?
Yeah, that's it.
Soul to Soul.
Yeah.
Who was that? Who was that guy back in the day?
Jazzy B.
No, was it? It was with an M. He kind of sang. It was a bit like De La Soul music. It was. What was his name? I freaking know. It's good.
Mac Morrison?
No. Oh no, not Marvin Gaye. It was
Morrison.
Maxi Priest. Remember Maxi Priest?
Maxi Priest.
Oh, yeah.
Maxi Priest.
I used to love Maxi Priest.
Maxi Priest and Shabba.
Maxi Priest. Yeah.
Man,
how did we get onto it?
England us Mac Morrison. Return of the Mac.
Listen, that was a college anthem over here in the UK. That was a college anthem. Every university party that came on, that was it.
Oh man. When that song came out, in the States, we're like, yo, this is huge. That song still get played in the clubs. Return of the Mac.
Meow.
The Mac on the world. Alex wants to vent. Maybe we should give him those last 5 minutes.
No, I've got to wrap it up. Murray. Yeah. What I wanted to do quickly was last week, right? We were talking about what's your favorite badge, and do you know what? I kind of put a little montage together. I do think this is the best badge. I do think this kit.
I like that badge.
What do you think, guys? Is this the best one?
I like that kit.
I like that best. Yeah, I like that badge. I like it.
but I still like my 83-84 badge.
1983, 84. Yeah, it is nice. There's something. But you know what? Though? I quite like the. It's not too simple because of the shield,
No, it's
but I
clean.
like
Isn't
it.
it?
It gives me
Clean,
1960s vibes.
Yeah.
It gives me glory vibes. This makes me think of people like Colin Calderwood and
Yeah, yeah.
Colin Calder.
Oh man, that was like Garth Crooks playing basketball.
I don't know where that came from. Colin
Colin Calderwood,
He was dead. He was
Nethercott.
so bad. Nethercott.
Stuart
My
Nethercott, blimey.
God, man. Mari, do you know what? When I think of that, actually, it's not too bad right now. You know that. It's not as bad as that. They were dark. They were dark days. My God. My God. Yeah.
Although we did have Ruddock, Razor. He was good. I liked him when I was young.
Yeah. He was solid. Oh my goodness me. Clive Wilson. Do you remember that? In fact, we had Clive Wilson, we had Raw Fox, we had Andy Sinton, but none of them were as good as Jose Domingos.
Jose Domingos.
I used to always get
do
confused. I used to
somersaults,
think he was a
man.
ball boy, and you know when he used to come on and kick the ball around, warm up.
He used to do somersaults when he scored.
Clive Wilson sounds like a jazz artist.
Yeah, it does. It does sound like a band member. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Clive Wilson.
That for me, the 90s period, that season 94 when we signed Popescu, Dominguez, and Klinsmann. I was amazed. I was just shocked.
Popescu and Dumitrescu as well.
Dumitrescu, sorry, not Dominguez. Yeah, sorry, Dumitrescu. That's it.
Yeah,
for me, that was like an unbelievable. Having watched the World Cup and then we've gone out and signed those players.
Oh my God, Kerslake. Oh my God,
yeah,
Kerslake. That was shocking.
Yeah, but we've had some. Mitchell Thomas, he was a good one.
I'll take Tarek over Sessignon.
Very quickly, actually, before we wrap up, because I completely forgot. There's actually a game this Wednesday, Brentford. Let's go around quickly, a couple of minutes. What do you think? What do you expect? And what's your prediction? Let's Mari, let's go to you first because you've hardly had a chance to speak tonight because you came late.
This one is at home, correct?
Yeah, 7:30 p.m. kickoff UK time.
Yeah. I reckon because though we didn't score, I actually think we're going to have a clean sheet. I actually think we'll probably have maybe a couple shots on goal. I'm feeling a 1-0 victory. I'm honestly really feeling a 1-0 victory. And it's a goal maybe from Madison.
Is it going to be a dominant performance 1-0 or is it going to be
dominant, but we not finished our dinner? It's going to be very frustrating once again in regards to being clinical. I think we're going to waste a lot of chances. We'll dominate possession, but when we get to the box, it's going to be a typical horrible pass from Johnson, sending Timo wide. I mean, I really see it being a 1-0 victory.
Okay, Murray's going for 1-0. Maz, Ivan Toney's back. 1-0, really?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really poor, scrappy game, and I think we're going to get an early goal and fight for our lives for the rest of the game.
JP, one thing we know is they're not going to dominate the ball the way Man City did, but they did low block us and counter-attack really well when we played them at their ground earlier on in the season. So
I don't care, but I'll be there with my light.
Oh, the light show. For anyone that doesn't know, Spurs have emailed everyone and put a message on social media. Get there early because we've all got to turn our phones on, there's going to be we're going to create a light show. Just what you want to hear after you get dumped out of the FA Cup. A light show.
It's like a is it a what do you have when people mourn, like a vigil or whatever it's called? You know, like someone dies, you have your lights on. It's like the club's died. Let's all put our lights on, like candles. Is that what it's called? I forgot the name of it.
It is a vigil.
It's a vigil.
Yeah, vigil. Yeah.
It's like,
Do you know what?
Not even am I paying for my ticket. I've got to make my own entertainment and bring the frigging lights as well.
Mate,
no, it's a vigil, I'm telling you.
There's always one funny guy in the comments when Spurs put something out that just like politely tells the club to fuck off without saying fuck off. He said, yeah, come on, boys and girls, don't forget, bring your torches. Let's shine our lights on those company accounts and all that money we've made. That's brilliant. Absolutely hilarious. But yeah, there's a light show. I'm sure that's going to scare the shit out of
we do have a really funny fan base, I got to admit. I think we've got a lot of comedians in our fan base.
Do you know what? I was watching another show on today, and there was this Liverpool fan in the chat, and I was in there just cussing, and he said to me, he didn't know who it was. He went, Tottenham away. You have got my maximum respect as a fan base because you guys turn up no matter what and back your club, and you don't ever see success. You're a proper fan base. And I actually sat back and I thought, do you know what? As stupid and as addicted to failure that we are a proper fan base, man. No one can ever accuse us of supporting Tottenham, right?
Yeah.
We do
deserve better, man. Deserve better. Deserve so much more instead of being
to put a little bit of a comedy spin on it, or like with like the crack whores that can't leave the pimp. Keep going back for more abuse.
Here's my money. Here's my money.
We've got to go back and give the pimp the money.
So we're not actually. We've got a drug addiction.
There's some addiction.
Hot spermine. Yeah.
After we get done from the backside, we go and give the pimp the money.
Listen, if you're going to White Hart Lane this Wednesday, people, make sure you bring your torches for the vigil.
Charge your phone.
Charge your phone up. We are going to put on a display for the world and show them that we have completely lost the plot.
We don't need no stinking FA Cup.
We don't need trophies. We've got a light show. JP, did you give a prediction?
No. Well, I kind of think we'll probably. Do you know what? It'll be a tough game with that Tony now, right? But I think we'll kind of at the back. We're probably all right. I want to say we'll win 2-0, but it's difficult seeing where the bloody goals are coming from. Yeah, I'm still gonna go 2-0. 2-0 Tottenham.
Do you know what? I was so disappointed by the performance by Man City, but there's no way Brentford are going to dominate the game. The pressing of City is the best I've seen of any team this season that's played us, and the way they moved the ball through our press was sublime. There's no way Brentford play at that level, so we will have
they
more
did Tottenham on Tottenham, didn't they? But harder and faster and.
Mate, we tried to play City's game, and they showed us how it's done. Right? They showed us. This is how it's done. You're the boys, we're the men, all right? Spurs have got to win this. Ivan Toney's a danger, but we've got Romero and Van de Ven. I feel confident because our defence was brilliant, even though we gave City a few chances. Yeah, do you know what? I'm going 2-0 Spurs as well. I'm going 2-0 Spurs.
Oh, Senegal around.
A quick one.
Senegal
this is what I would like to see.
Papa's back.
Oh, Senegal lost, so Papa Matasar is back.
This is what I'd like to see, though, still, right? I think if Dragusin can play right back, which I believe he can, right? I think we should move Porro. as a forward to play on the right.
Yeah. He won't be back for the Brentford game.
You know what? Do you know what? I'm well up for giving that a go. I'm well up for giving that a go.
Why? I think it's because Porro is good going forward, right? He's got a bit of quality about him. He can cross, he can shoot. So it makes sense if he's at, because he used to play an advanced role for his previous club. So it makes sense for.
Who's your midfield three then? Who's your midfield three?
It will be Bentancur, Højbjerg, and Maddison.
So would Kulu play in the front field on the left, or would Timo stay there?
I would keep Timo, and fucking hell, do we have to pay Richarlison? I think
so
for that, yeah, I think for that game you got to play Richarlison for the physicality. So,
and also a low block, we're going to need to put some crosses into the box to try and beat him. Richie's actually not bad at that, I guess. Yeah. People, once again, thank you so much for the 10,000 subscribers. We do appreciate it. It's great to have our channel back now. Officially, we are back. It's good. It's good.
Guess who's back?
Our channel's back, and we've got our Tottenham back.
I was waiting for that.
We have got our Tottenham back. Big up.
FFP champions.
I like it. Now we're back.
We'll have various shows on this week. I think Mari's got a show. I'll definitely do a show at some point, and then Monday we're back as well. Iggy does his morning shows.
I need to get access again to create a show.
I'll sort it out with you now once we finish the stream. Everyone in the chat tonight, thank you for all your comments. Appreciate it as always. You've been amazing. Big up to all the super chats: Dietrich Kane, the Spurs fan, Anti Lafleur, Terence Sampson, and to Matt Coppy, and also channel members Ryan Busy 86, and William Leone. Thank you so much as well. Check us out. We'll be back soon, and come on, you Spurs for Brentford. We've got to get 3 points and keep the top 4 race alive. Come on, we're out of here, people.
Take care, everyone. The vigil.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.